Welcome back, everybody. Rough morning. Rough morning. My condolences to everyone out there who woke up last night to some sweat and panic. You're not alone, that's for sure. I myself was a little panicked last night. Actually, not because of what was happening with markets necessarily, but some other news in the crypto space. We're going to jump right into it. Let me make sure my headphones are on. Thanks for joining. Don't forget to smash the like button. Let's get hype. It's going to be a spicy day. We actually, well, we can't say we predicted this or something because that's silly. We did, however, there we go. Now I got my tunes. We did, however, spot something on Friday that is now coming into play that, well, definitely was not a bullish sign. We're going to jump into that in 1 second. I'm just making sure all the alerts go out. Hopefully. Probably out. We'll see. And that is the dollar. We saw this on Friday. We were watching the close. We were watching Biden's speech, and we were speculating that if we had some kind of change in narrative or some kind of mix-up, some kind of wild card move, that maybe the dollar would sell back off below resistance and we would see it fade into this week. We didn't get that. The Biden speech was basically a nothing burger, and nothing happened because of it. The dollar held the strength, and it closed. Settled back up on the week, right at resistance, or right above resistance, 104.2. We said, unfortunately, that's a strong close, and we're likely to see this rally into Monday. We said that in the stream. That's likely to spell for a very bloody Monday. Well, I definitely didn't think all assets everywhere would collapse like they did today. We saw major indices in the U.S. halt trading at the start of the trading day today. That has not happened, I believe, since March of 2020. This is a pretty big day. We'll take a look at stocks as well. We'll look at S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, but we'll also look at crypto, and we're going to see what's going on here. To my knowledge, and I just woke up a little bit ago, so I'm warming up myself, I believe the only thing that is green right now is the dollar. That's a weird situation to be in. Today's the 13th. Cool. Close this, close that. All right. Pop out the chat. I'm going to make the chat big on this side of my screen today so I can see it. Real quick, shout outs to our sponsors, Market Cipher and Phemex. Links at the top of this video in the chat below, and in the video description. Check them out. Sign up today if you're going to use them. Phemex is a great exchange. Market Cipher, I use it every day here to make trades. I've been using it for a long time, years, and I highly recommend both of them. If you check out Market Cipher, use promo code CROWN for a discount, and Phemex, they have a deposit bonus of up to $40 or $4,100, something like that. Yeah, so the dollar. Let's get into it. Let's get into it, guys. It's great to be here. Dollar looking so strong, putting tons of downward pressure on markets globally. Here's what's really funny to me. I've already seen the headlines blaming crypto, saying crypto is the reason stocks are going down, whatever. Guys, that's such bullshit. That's complete bull. Look at the dollar. When the dollar is up like this, and we saw this in May, when the dollar is up like this, it puts downward pressure on all assets. Crypto has nothing to do with this greater global problem. If anything, it is the one solution, potentially, to the problem that Satoshi Nakamoto and the cypherpunks identified 13 years ago. When men are allowed or able to print money, they will print money until they are in the grave. We have seen that hold true for hundreds of years. There's been virtually never a time where someone was able to print money and it didn't lead to a collapse. There we are. So we have some big news. I do want to jump into this really quick. Maybe I should have pulled it up beforehand. Here we go. We'll just pull up this article. Bitcoin slides after crypto lender Celsius network freezes withdrawals. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is really bad. This is really bad. So at the moment, Celsius is saying that they're pausing withdrawals so that they can essentially reorganize, figure it out, and secure assets. They say that their main priority here is to protect user assets. I do believe that. I do believe that their main priority is to protect user assets. However, In crypto, and this is where the bitter taste, not sugar covered, comes from. In crypto, historically, when an exchange freezes withdrawals, that does not go well. It has never gone well. In fact, I don't know, or I can't name a time where this happened and it didn't lead to essentially users losing funds. Now, this sucks. If you have crypto on Celsius, here's what you should do. 1, take a deep breath and relax. You shoulda, coulda, woulda, whatever. I know, I have the same thoughts too. I have money on there. I can't get out as well. I'm with you. Here's my plan. Here's what I believe you should do. Just be ready. Be ready. They say they're pausing the network. They're going to unpause it. They don't have a date or something set. Be ready for that date. When that date comes, get your ass up, withdraw ASAP. Here is what else I'm doing, because that's it. We got no other recourse. That's ours for now. The other thing we can do is, if you weren't aware, this is a learning lesson. Crypto is a trial by fire. These platforms have risk. Every time I brought them up, how I use them, I have acknowledged they do have risk that is non-zero. I didn't expect this to happen to Celsius. I did get some kind of unnerving vibes from them recently, but they do have risk. And so in the future, using any platform, and that's exchanges, Coinbase, Crypto.com, including BlockFi, including all these other places that we can put our coins, they have risk. They have inherent risk because that platform has to stay solvent. If they are no longer solvent, you can have something happen like what's going on with Celsius. So what I'm going to be doing is withdrawing all my assets from exchange. I'm going to be withdrawing my assets from other platforms such as BlockFi, what else am I using? Lendon and HODLNOT. I'm going to be taking them off. I don't necessarily believe that those other platforms are going to have issues. I don't really believe Coinbase is going to have issues. However, in trading and in investing, everything is a risk to reward analysis. That's what we do here all day, every day. What is the risk? What is the reward? I'd say a year ago, the risk to reward on BlockFi was great. It was a great risk to reward. I didn't really see a very likely scenario of them being insolvent, and I was getting a high APY. Since then, since like a year ago, we've seen those APYs come down, and that's bringing our reward down. And now with Celsius pausing withdrawals, let me see if there's anything interesting here. Probably not. With Celsius pausing withdrawals, while this doesn't actually impact other platforms, it does give us some insight into, hey, how risky are these? What is our real risk? So in theory, our risk is up, even though it doesn't directly impact them, and our reward is down. That risk to reward has shrunk, and it's no longer favorable to me. Maybe in the future, we'll probably see the SEC get involved with Celsius, but maybe in the future, if there's some kind of protections, or at least the market just becomes less turbulent and a little more calm, maybe I'll look to re-stake, not stake, but put my assets back on some of these platforms. But for now, the risk is up, the reward's down, I'm out. I highly recommend everyone else do that themselves. It's cliche at this point, but not your keys, not your coins. And that doesn't help in hindsight, but is what it is. This is the lesson that crypto teaches us, is custody is value. We need to know when to fold them and when to hold them, right? Let's see if this article has anything interesting. Bitcoin tumbled on Monday, U.S. exchange, whatever. Celsius froze network, citing extreme conditions. Speculative, allegedly, has to do with the SF to ETH situation, which we can go into if you guys want to talk about that today. I'm pretty versed on it, though, it's not my field of expertise. Bitcoin touched a 18-month low earlier today. Markets extend sell-offs after U.S. inflation data on Friday showed the largest increase since 1981. That's a 40-year high. This is off the back of the Luna UST situation. Man, we can't catch a break, fam. We just can't catch a break. It's like Luna, now Celsius. We are being hammered by these negative stories, and it is brutal. I don't blame you. If you're out there feeling a little uncertain about crypto, I don't blame you. I will let you know, my faith, my belief is not shaken at all by either of these things. However, these are spooky. And they're real. We need to be on top of this. Let me see. Anything interesting here? There probably won't be. Celsius raised money last year, had lots of assets. They didn't respond immediately for comment. Yep. Nothing really of note there in that article. I didn't think so, but that's the situation. That's it. I know it's rough. I have thousands of dollars on there. I cannot get off. I'm there with you. I'm going to be on top of it. I'm going to be following Celsius, and the minute I see anything withdraw enabled, I'm going to be ripping all my assets off there double time. All right, so let's take a look at Bitcoin. We identified these major supports. That was a really good episode for Friday, actually. It aged very well, as we've seen some of these bear market macro support targets start to come to reality. We did break 25.3. I'm going to get rid of this arrow because that implies that. It's not what I'm saying. We did break 25.3 on Coinbase, and now where are we? We're kind of in no man's land. There was only one monthly traded candle in all of Bitcoin's 13-year history that even traded at this price. There is no technical reason to assume support anywhere above the previous all-time high now. That doesn't mean it has to go to 20K or below, but there's just nothing. There's nothing there. There's very little traded volume. Let's pull up our volume profile. Maybe we can get a better look at this if it will load. Don't want to load. Screw you, volume profile. Son of a bitch. Get rid of you. Maybe there's a different volume profile. Profile. I don't know why it's not working. Kev for coins. That's weird. I don't know why it's not working. We'll look at that in a different way. But there's no reason to assume support. That doesn't mean you can't randomly see a bounce. It does happen. But there's just nothing. There's very little traded volume. There is no support on technical level until 20K. Below that, we have some pretty spicy price points. From 69K to 20,000, the previous all-time high, is a 71% retracement from the high. That's pretty deep. Bitcoin historically in bear markets has done 85-ish%, so that's a little bit less than the previous cycles. However, it should be noted that the climb up was also a little smaller than usual, so perhaps the downside will be a little smaller than usual as well. Below that is 17.1. That comes from January 1st's high in 2018. That's a 75% drawdown from the high. You kind of gap there. And the next support, the next macro support on Bitcoin, 13.8, very critical monthly level that was never back tested. That's an 80% drawdown. That's getting closer to what we would expect from Bitcoin drawdown in a bear market. Below 13.8 is the ultimate, the masterpiece of support for Bitcoin, 10,500. That's an 85% basically on the dot drawdown from the high. If we're going to mirror previous cycles, that's the target we'd be looking at. 10,500. Anything is possible, as this cycle is a little different than the previous. So below that, 6,400. That was the March monthly close and open in 2020. That's a 90% drawdown. That would be not outside the realm of Bitcoin's history. It has had 90% drawdowns, I think, but that was very early. I don't think that's happened in a long time. That would be right on the dot. I don't think it will get to 6,000. But let's explore all possibilities today, because I know you guys just need somewhere to chill. And thanks for being here. Don't forget to smash the like, subscribes, hype it up. We're going to be here just looking rationally, staying calm. You can bask in my tranquility. Below that is basically one other support that I think is highly improbable to ever be traded at again. That would be 3,100. That's 2018's low. That's a 95% drawdown from the high. Very improbable in my opinion. But hey, I'm just walking through the charts. You guys make your own decisions. You make your own choices. You make your own assumptions. I am just here to share my thoughts here today. So there we go. Macro supports for Bitcoin. I will put out a short video like I did. I put out an Ethereum short. You guys check those out. Those aren't shit posts. An Ethereum, XRP, and an ADA short, I think in the last 24 hours, that are 30-second clips of basically what I just did in the last 5 minutes of blabbering. So check those out after the live stream. Here is a big culprit. This is not what I want to see. We've been talking about two factors in finding the Bitcoin bottom. One, well, I guess there's three, but one was the dollar. We talked about that already. The dollar closed strong on Friday. We said Monday's likely to be bloody. I didn't think it'd be this bloody, but we were right. Two, Bitfinex longs. Historically, at bottoms, we see these openings of longs over here. This over here, going up, parabolic. We see that begin to sell back off. If we look back at Bitfinex longs history, we can see that's held pretty true. July 21, right here. Bitfinex longs, I'll draw a little bit. Bitfinex longs rallied from January to 2021. They reached a high July 21. That was the bottom in summer. Rallied back up to a new all-time high. We saw those longs dump. So here's a good example. That's what we'd like to see here to give us a little confirmation that the bottom is in. We don't have it. It's not there. Bitfinex longs have no freaking chill. Bitfinex whales, if you're out there, stop opening longs. I'm going to smack you. Stop it. Just stop it. We're sick of it. You have enough. You're like 2x the previous all-time high on longs here. We don't have that yet, but we're going to keep an eye. 3 would be Bitcoin dominance. We'll look at that later in the episode because I actually had something that I wanted to share with you guys about Bitfinex longs specifically. Now, this is maybe hopium. You guys know I deal the best hopium in the space. I'm the best hopium dealer out there. There was something that happened here, and it wasn't actually to Bitfinex longs. It was to Bitfinex shorts. So let's take a look at this because this is definitely grade A premium hopium. It is what it is. But it is. So where was it? It was, let me search my brain, 2019 in April. I just closed my eyes to like do this math in my head. April. Was it April? April? June, July. Okay, it was right here. So this is shorts, not longs, but on Bitfinex. And we got a very interesting setup in 2019 that I'm interested. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I don't have any evidence that this is going to happen, but I'm keeping my eye out for it. So right here, if you don't remember the price action April, May 2019, it was basically from 3,000. Bitcoin rallied all the way up to like 14 or 14,000. And then it sold back off. We trended down. Eventually 2020 came around, crashed in March, touched 3K again. So here is my little speculation. Guarantee this is alpha. You're not going to find on any freaking channel. This is our cutting edge. This is why you guys tune in. It's not for the hopium. It's for these insights. Smash the like for this if you like what you're about to hear. Even if you don't think it's going to happen, just that it's a unique insight. We had shorts building into that rally off of 3,100. God, dog hair everywhere in this house. And something very interesting happened. Right here. Right there. Right here. Shorts were built, and something very interesting happened. These shorts actually didn't get liquidated. Even though you see this really steep decline, they didn't get liquidated. What happened is the person who opened, because apparently this was one actor, had over 25,000 Bitcoin on Bitfinex short. They covered their short. They didn't allow it to liquidate. They covered. Basically, they paid the position out. It was like 25,000 Bitcoin. They paid it out to close it in a loss. Once that happened, the market basically lost all of its energy and just began trending down again, eventually touching 3,000 in March of 2020. Here is what I'm speculating. Even though I have no evidence for it to happen, I want to see it happen, and I'm going to watch for it. I'm going to look for Bitfinex longs to do something similar. I'm going to look for big actors or whales to cover these longs instead of allowing them to liquidate, paying them out, closing them all at once, and that may be the signal for a bottom. Maybe that logic doesn't fall with you. Maybe I can give you a 2-cent take. Shorts climbed into the rally of 2019, a huge short position covered, and that seemed to kind of snap the energy out of the market, the upside energy. Bulls kind of lost any kind of, control or direction, momentum. So for longs to be climbing now, I'm going to look for one of those actors to cover big. That'd be a big red candle instantly. Wouldn't be like over a long time. It'd be pretty instant, straight down. And that may snap the energy from the bears. I don't know if this has actually ever happened just like that, but we have the example in 2019 of it happening with shorts, causing bulls to lose energy. Maybe we'll see it again here with longs, causing bears to lose energy. I don't know. But what I do know is I'm going to put some alerts here. Let me see. Boop, boop. Put some alerts here because they're likely to all go off in that event. That I guarantee no one else is looking for or talking about. It could happen. Crazier things have happened. So let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. Bitcoin, there's our levels. Let's look at the S&Ps. Let's look at stocks. How are stocks doing? We did not even get that bounce. Woo, Nelly. Well, here's some, I don't know, morbid silver lining. At least we're not alone. Everything's dumping. Holy hell, did that dump. On Friday's close, S&P gapped down. Close a completely bears in control candle. No bottom wick, no top wick, just selling off of basically just selling the day before. Today opened with another gap. These are some wild. These are wild. This is wild volatility. 1% gap on into Friday, 1.6% gap into today, and now candles down 3.6%. I'm getting another alert on Bitcoin. There's no time to look at stocks. Screw stocks. Let's pull up the Bitcoin chart. June Bitcoin. All right, let's pull it up. Did not get the bounce. Oh. Here we go. We'll dine in hell tonight together. Smash the likes and subscribes. We've had no subscribers during this live stream. If you're out there and you haven't subscribed yet, please take the stream's subscribe-ginity right now. Get a nice little shout out. Wow. 22,007 and falling. Pretty savage. Pretty savage. It does seem like 20K is on deck. I didn't think we would test 20K. We still might not. But it's looking probable. For the last, I don't know, maybe week, we've been saying every stream, none of these time frames look good. They all look weak. We don't really have any signs of reversal yet. I don't even need to look at my indicators to know that is the truth right now. Dang, 22.6. This is insane. Wow. This is like unreal. The complete lack of bounces and just the downward price action is unreal. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like this. Ever. There's some kind of hidden positive news. If you're a millennial like me, this is the single greatest discount for assets. What's up, Daniel, my man, subscribing. Welcome, Daniel. Taking the scribe virginity. Love you, my brother. Welcome. This is the single biggest discount on stocks or investments we've ever seen, as far to my knowledge, we've ever seen. Let me see where we are off the high. 21 point, almost 22% off the high. Dang, I thought it was higher than that actually. I think Dow and such are lower. Let's pull up Dow. Or is the Dow doing better? Oh, the Dow just broke. Okay. Dow might be doing better, weirdly. 17%. All right. What was I looking at then? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm incorrect. What is up, Kirill? Shulman, thanks for subscribing. Good to have you. Dow. S&P, NASDAQ. Maybe it was the NASDAQ that was down more. I thought that they were already down like equal to March. Maybe it was NASDAQ. Let's take a peek. Yep, okay. That's why I thought that. 32%. This is like, right now is in our adult lives as millennials, the single greatest discount we've ever had in assets. So if you have a 401k, if you have a Roth IRA or whatever, basically a DCA and retirement investment account, don't you dare stop contributions. Slap your hand. Unless you can't pay rent, you can't eat, like obviously that comes first. You have to pay yourself. Don't you dare. Don't you dare get afraid now. That doesn't mean all in right now, but that means do not stop investing in your retirement funds. Like, just allow those small monthly payments to add up. You're getting discounts we've never seen before in our adult lives. This could be, maybe not today is, the bottom, but over the next few weeks or whatever, it could be today, I doubt it, but over the next few weeks, months, this may be the single greatest opportunity for millennials to build wealth, period. And I'm not even talking about Bitcoin or crypto necessarily. I mean just markets. Markets have never been this far down. It does not seem as if they're catching bids here. You know what I mean? Like, let's say this is Dow, God. NASDAQ goes down. What's our next level? 37%. 37% to 10,600, 70% to the support below that. If you're able to continue to DCA and price goes all the way down here, you may never in your lifetime get a better opportunity to buy assets low, period. Think of it this way, kind of game theory. Boomers, I know, shout out to all the crypto boomers out there, we love you. But boomers are people who are looking to retire right now. As these assets slide in value, they're forced to liquidate larger and larger pieces of their portfolio to cover their expenses. That's their income. So they are giving up their wealth as it sells off more and more. And that's opening opportunity for people who are not retiring. It's not a good thing that this is happening to them. My condolences, but we don't have any control over this. And this is our opportunity potentially, period. That's definitely how I see the situation. It's pretty spicy. Wow. Just look at that. Just look at this freaking... Look at this. Boop. Hammered. Let's put a little hammer icon. Let's keep it fun. This little red hammer will keep it fun. Now everyone's happy. No one's worried anymore. Where does it go? Round and round, where does it go? Want to look at some of these other coins we looked at 2 days ago. See how they're vibing. Gala reached its 618, broke its low. Interesting though. Gala, we see that it maybe is respecting our little zone of support. A close on the weekly, back above this little box here, and Gala actually might be looking to retrace. Way too early to call, but it's interesting that it's wicked up from that box of support. Let's look at MATIC. MATIC broke 47 cents. It's what, 30 cents below. I mean, maybe you have something at like 38. I wouldn't be too confident. But let's put it on there anyway. Maybe you got a little support at 38, but 30 going to be a much more concrete support in my opinion. You break that and you are in the void. This is the void, bro. Void. There's nothing there. There's nothing here to support price. If it falls below 30 cents, boom. Probably looking for 7. That's getting ahead of ourselves. Let's see 30 cents first, but there's nothing on a technical level to support price if 30 cents breaks on MATIC. CRO is going to be awful. Yep. CRO reaching down to that 10 cent, 9.7 cent mark. Looking for blood. Not even going to look for signs of reversal yet. It's just in no man's land. I want you to jump. Shiba broke its May low. Does look like now it's searching for support. We'll see what happens. Searching for support in its consolidation zone from 2021. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if I feel that's very likely that it'll find support there. This is really where people learn to be Bitcoin maximalists. I know I don't mean to be twisting the fork in your knee. These times are learning lessons, but this is where people become Bitcoin maximalists because everyone was hype on Shiba. Oh my God, it went 1,000,000%. It's going to go to $1 jillion, $1,000,000%. This is why people say, I remember people calling me boomer. Like, you're a boomer. Bitcoin's a boomer coin. No one buys Bitcoin. It doesn't go up enough. The reason we buy Bitcoin is because when the shit hits the fan, we don't see this. Yes, it goes down 85%, but the difference between 85% and 99.9% is I don't even need to explain. Life-changingly different. Shiba could find support at 625. Doesn't find support there. I'll have to find a longer history. I think that there is more history. I doubt that there's support anywhere with, anywhere until like another 80% down if it breaks this consolidation zone. Good luck, Shiba. My Shiba in. AVAX reaching on down to our $12 target. Closed week, reaching down, looking good. At 11.95, looking very strong. I speculated the other day that if it does reach it, we may see this spooky ghost head and shoulders play out. And we may see a test of 433, but that's really far ahead of ourselves. Let's see what happens at 12. I have an alert set. Just a knife right now. This is weird. I will say I did not expect this. Let's put it on the daily. This is odd. Bitcoin dominance. I was fully expecting to see Bitcoin dominance rally to that 49-50% level, especially in a sell-off. So this is very odd, actually. We talk about Bitcoin dominance a lot and its impact on the market. It represents Bitcoin's share of the total crypto market cap. When it goes up, alts tend to bleed. When it goes down, alts tend to blossom. So what we were looking for is for Bitcoin to rally a little more and then to reverse. And we would expect for alts to get a little breather, a little reprieve from the selling. This is odd to me to see Bitcoin dominance falling and Bitcoin USD falling. A little unusual. Typically, while USD falls, dominance rises. Not sure what to make of that. That means that Bitcoin is actually, from 2 days ago, has lost more market share than the general part of the market. Weird. I don't know what to make of that. Though Market Cipher is telling me on the day that Bitcoin dominance has nothing to worry about. This is likely going to get bought up. Market Cipher definitely remaining bullish on Bitcoin dominance. So not too worried yet. It would be very strange to see this. It'd be very strange to see that happen and Bitcoin USD just like fall into a bear market. That would be unusual. We don't have much history with dominance, but that would go against kind of everything we've seen before. Let's do an update on DOT. DOT, there we go, baby. We got one touch on support. DOT hitting our first potential support level. $6.28. Looks like it's wicked there today. 635. Very, very close. If that breaks, looking for 419. However, let's say DOT gets a bounce at this 630 level. Now it has resistance at 1035. That resistance was tested on the weekly time frame and on the daily, but that's going to be a strong resistance now, sitting above that 1641. Not bueno. No bueno, though. DOT may realistically here be the first one in a potentially buying position. TRX was the outlier. We can see it ignored the monthly local support. As we kind of said, we said we're going to put this on the chart, but I don't really expect this to be strong. Broke through 0.74. Now trading. God, my nose. Now trading. Down to the bottom of these monthlies. 0.622. Weird. Tron holding on to its gains better than most. It's interesting. I don't really know what to make of that or why. Maybe just because it really never got super hot in the 2021 hype cycle. It didn't break its previous all-time high. I mean, it did have a nice run. You're in crypto when something rallies from bottom to top 2,700%, and you're like, it didn't really have a good run. It really didn't move much. Just 2,700%. I guess this support could hold here, but looking at the rest of the market, looks more likely that Tron is going to trade back down to 5 cents. Below that, we have 3 cents. And even below that, we have 1.5 cents. I could definitely see 5 cents. Maybe even back to the 618s all the way down here, 2.3. It's weird because actually Tron, where it is, if it holds this low, is actually in a pretty good position. It really has only managed a shallow retrace from its move. That's not very bearish. It would take a lot more selling to get down to this 0.5 or 0.618. It's unusual to see coins retrace so shallowly. shallowly if they're not bullish. Let's move on to H-bar. That's right, guys. I'm just knocking them all out, so everybody's happy. I know no one's happy today, so I'm going to do my best to make everyone happy. And we'll just plow through a bunch of coins so everybody gets the coins they want. H-bar actually holding its gains pretty well. Has not broken last month's swing low at 4.5 cents. Kind of hovering in between 8.5 cents. That's going to likely be resistance on the way back up. And its support and low that was tested last month. Certainly doesn't look pretty. The whole market has kind of this same rejection, fall, bounce pattern. The difference is pretty much everything has broken that low. At this point, almost everything has made this bounce and then gone lower. DOT hasn't, H-bar has not, and weirdly holding on to its gains a little bit better than the rest of the market. Kind of puts it in the Tron book. Support below 4.5 and 3 cents. Below that 1 cent. We'll see. I'm going to set an alert. I wonder if H-bar will break this. It's interesting because everything else really has already done it. Let's move to BNB. BNB, here we go. BNB is exactly back to where it was May of 2021. What does that mean? It means that while the rest of the market has done a bunch of crap, BNB actually has held its gains. If we look at BNB's value versus Bitcoin, actually, let's pull that up. This is going to be interesting. The fact that it's at the same price it was in May and Bitcoin's lower means that BNB BTC should be up versus May of last year. Should be, right? And it is. This is not very common. This is not very common in the space. Yes, BNB BTC is selling off. We see those red candles as well. But check this. BNB actually is up 40% from its low in May against Bitcoin's valuation. Binance protecting its gains? I don't know. That is weird. There are not many coins that are this way right now. I would love, actually, if you know one off the top of your head, put it in the chat. That'd be good. Let me know. Actually, if you're not a bot, let me know in chat. Let me pull the chat up. We got 667 votes on Is the Bottom In, and it looks like more than half of us looking for 20K. I think that's reasonable. Pax G, LEFE, that's a good point. Touche. Pax G likely to be up against Bitcoin, up against almost all crypto. Pax G is just pegged to gold, and gold hadn't really moved. And so everything else has fallen to new lows. Anything Pax G is likely to be up. No bots here, Toby. Stu JK Freeway. Binance Card. What's up, Dean, Daniel, Chris, Mushroom FPV. What about Doge? Doge is up, bro. Don't worry. Don't worry. We're going through them. Not a bot, Paul. Thank you, my friend. Michael Norris, Jocelyn B. James Caldwell. You are not a bot. Greetings from Germany. The Bit Cryptoweski. Good. Good. Guten Tag. Marius Roberts is a bot, and that's okay. We just do a bot check. What's up, Chemo and Crypto? How you doing, bro? Paul Christopher Little. You realize BNB can pull a Terra or Sol or Celsius in one day. I'm not sure what... Did I say it couldn't? We're just looking at charts, bro. I know everyone's going to be a little salty today, a little angry, a little trolly. That's all right. We're just going through the charts. We're just trying to take our minds off of what's going on. We're not really making predictions. We're just looking at the charts on macro levels, and we're going to see where these coins might find support. You're a bit for sure. What's up, Diego? Dan Cohen. Alex Colon. BNB for life. I have some BNB. Did you do XRP? Actually, I did not do XRP. That's coming up. I did do a short on XRP. You can check that out. I published it last night. It's like 45 seconds, and it's going to go through basically what I'm about to go through. LTC, please. Jocelyn, of course, darling. Rico Chong. Could I look at the 200 SMA weekly for Bitcoin? Oh, yeah. So I thank you for reminding me. I did say, and I might have misspoken. I was just waking up. I might have misspoken. The 200 MA, 200 moving average, on the weekly. I think I misspoke. Earlier, I said there's nothing, no reason, no rhyme to bounce, right? I said that earlier. I may have misspoken. My apologies. Let me get EMA 200. Good. Good. I may have misspoken. And thank you for reminding me, Ricardo Chong. Thanks for reminding me, man. There is a rhyme or reason to bounce before 20K. Sorry. My bad. There's so much going on today, it was hard to keep all my thoughts straight. There is a rhyme or reason. And it's a good one. I mean, historically, it's a great one. We can take a look at that little copium for us. We'll do Doge and XRP, don't worry. I still have them queued up. We have Doge, XRP, Litecoin, ADA, APE. We have a few queued up still. And that would be the 200 weekly moving average. We have the 200 EMA, exponential moving average. I'm not going to go into what makes them different. They're calculated slightly differently. EMA weights their more recent candles more heavily. MA just counts them all evenly. We lost that on last week's close. I didn't actually see that. I'm off my game, bro. We lost on last week's close. This week, kind of back tested it close enough and dumped. So we do have actually something that may hold price up here in the 22,000s. Last indicators value. There it is. 22,364. On the dot. Doesn't have to be on the dot. Coordinates 22,364. There we go. Here we are. This is the 200 weekly moving average. And some of the newer traders out there are probably like, Tom, why are you looking at this? What's that matter? What does that matter at all? Who cares? What about the 200 monthly or, you know, like whatever? Valid point. But there is reason to believe that we will find support. And we will show you that right now. Right meow. What we're going to see here is not that necessarily price never goes below the 200 weekly. But we do see that when it does, it has marked a bottom for Bitcoin on many occasions. Not just a bottom, but a pristine kind of once every few years buying opportunity. So looking at the total history of Bitcoin, and this is 200 weeks in. But if you use your brain, you can kind of like imagine what this looks like, right? I just drew that in. But you can kind of use your brain and see, oh yeah, that has like, you know, maybe even before the 200 started, that was being respected. Here's the entire history of Bitcoin's traded price. In 2015, it was tested 2 times. Let's zoom in on them a little bit. Tested 2 times at the bear market bottom. Buyers came in. Price didn't really make a higher high. I guess it made a slightly higher high. I wasn't trading back here. And it fell again to the 200 weekly. Traded below. Found buyers. Moved back up into a bull run. So it had 2 tests. 1, 2. Before moving to a new high. You can see it wasn't instant. It wasn't an instant gratifying situation. But it did prop price up. And price then went on to make a new high. What we see in 2018 and 2020 is something very similar. It had 2 tests of the 200 weekly moving average. Each time, it hit the 200 weekly and found buyers. In March, it did actually close below the 200 weekly, but ever so slightly. That pushed price back up. So here we are again. Here we are again. And this is BLX, so it hasn't updated yet. You can see, I don't know if you can see that on the side, it says 26,500. That's not the price. We are now much closer. We may wick through it, but we're likely to find buyers. That has been the historical buy signal for Bitcoin since 2014, 2015. So there's a rhyme or reason. It doesn't mean that's the exact bottom. I'd be very careful with leverage. But to begin scaling into a position, I would not scale in, meaning like put everything in there and then a little bit somewhere else. No, like if you split what you want to buy up into like 10 pieces, maybe you buy like 1 or 2 pieces there. This is not financial advice. I'm kind of just running it through my own head, how I would do it. And then maybe 1 or 2 pieces at 20, 2, 3 pieces at 13, and then like 5 of them at 10 or something like that. Scaling in so they get heavier the lower price goes. This is a reason. This is a rhyme, so I was wrong, or I misspoke. We have that. That's right here now. We are very, very close. Let's see how close we traded. Within 2% of the 200 weekly moving average. That's a little hopium. That's much more realistic hopium than some of the other batches we brewed up today. But thank you for reminding me of that, my friend. Thank you for reminding me of that. Dan says this time is different and not in a good way. I mean, Dan, I'll agree with you, not in a good way. But I will say, I have heard this time is different every time. Every single time in Bitcoin, and it's never been different. It never has. Maybe this time it really is different. It looks that way, but having been in this space for so long, it's very difficult for me to say this time is different because I've just seen it slap people in the face over and over again. It would be very weird to not see the 200 weekly hold. Very weird. We'll find out. We're probably going to find out today based on what's going on right now. We're highly likely to find out today. I think I can make this 200 weekly on a different. Let me see. Let's see if I can add this to a lower time frame chart. I can. There we go. There we go. We've added the 200 weekly to our 1 hour chart, to our 5 minute chart. It just got rid of it. Son of a bee. Why did that happen? There we go. Cool. We literally have it there. What's super interesting, this is being calculated, I guess, on a lower time frame now. Look at this. That 200 weekly moving average. Oh, no, that's where I put the line. I'm so dumb. Sorry, guys. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. We are very, very close. Let's get rid of that. Very, very close. Dang. 1%. Nice. Little buying coming in. Volume is not blowing me away yet. Decent volume, though. So these individual candles might not be the highest volumes we've seen in the world. Actually, they are pretty dang high. Let's see. Nah, still looks like May. We had some higher volume on these time frames. But, so it's not the individual candles that are interesting to me. If you see this little bouncy white line on our... Let me make this yellow or something. What's up? We got a new subscriber. This is a slow subscriber day for how much spice there is. Smash the freaking like buttons. Let's get 420. Subscribe if you haven't. Every time you hit the like button, or you subscribe, or you chat, or you vote in a poll while we're live, YouTube counts that as engagement, and it then shows this stream to more people. It really makes a difference. Like, the only reason this channel has grown is because you guys kick ass at engaging in the stream, hitting the like button, subscribing, etc. So thank you for everyone who does that day in and day out. We got like 1,000 viewers. It is getting spicy. I can feel the heat. But it makes a difference. It's not like a placebo button. Please smash the likes. It just costs you a click. You're going to get all kinds of free content here as I walk you through what I'm thinking. All I ask of you is to hit the like button. Chill over. So this yellow line, this is actually the average. It is a moving average of not price, but volume. And that is what's catching my eye more so than any individual candle here. We can see that the average is decently off what we've been seeing, or much higher than what we've been seeing recently. This is definitely increased volume. We can see that very clearly here with that moving average kicking up. I meant to make that thicker. There we go. That makes it easier. We can see that moving up. That is good. That is increasing volume. It doesn't have to necessarily be on like a single candle. On the hourly, I think that's very visible. Look at this, 45-degree incline. Volume is definitely kicking up. What's up, Carlos Cordova? Welcome. Mosab Millie and Yash Yadav. Great to have all three of you. Thanks for joining. Pop in the Discord for our airdrop after the live stream. I don't know how long this live stream will go. I will have to go before 3. It's currently 11:20, so that's like 4 hours. We'll have to go before 3 because we have I have the We Are CC podcast, the R cryptocurrency official podcast at 3 o'clock today. Links in the chat if you want to check out those episodes. They're timeless. I have a feeling it's going to be hella spicy. We get about 250,000 views on those. I think today we could easily get 500,000. We'll see. We'll find out. I don't need this line then because we have the moving average. I'm going to get rid of volume because it's mostly just distracting. We know volume's increasing. Will we break the 200 weekly? Maybe we should start a new poll. Give 1,000 votes on that poll. Let's do an AB, a yes, no. You must pump LTC on the stream. I know, I owe it to LTC. It's going to be a yes, no. Vote in this one. I mean, I don't want to influence the vote, but like we're really close. We're really close. We're like within a margin of error of already having hit it. All right, we're going to go back. I forget who wanted to see Doge. I'm going to put alerts. We'll put an alert high so we can catch kind of breakout. We'll put an alert low to catch breakdown. We're going to go back to going through these altcoins. Doge, my boy asked about Doge, and I got distracted. We went into other stuff because, I don't know, I'm ADD as hell. Let's make this smaller. Symbol, default. We only need what? They need like 4 decimals. There we go. Let's do 5. There we go. Doge broke 7.85. It does have both psychological and technical support down at 5 cents. That's the likely target now. It does seem in sights as it's at 5.5 cents. 5 cents could see some buyers come in. The problem again, similar to many coins, is you got a void. You got another void. Just like Ethereum under 1100. We'll have to check in on Ethereum then. I actually didn't look at that one yet. Why is it not pulled up? That's weird. I'm going to load it. Okay, back to Doge. Has a void of support. Very low traded volume. You can see that price virtually ran straight up through this price before consolidating between 7 and 5 cents. Broke to a new all-time high. Coming back down now. So if it breaks 5 cents, the trip back down to about 2 cents is very probable. Very probable. I'm going to pull up a different Doge. I'm going to pull up a different Doge. I think I'm going to pull it up on Bittrex. Because that does not have a ton of history. Doge was traded long before whatever exchange we just looked at said so. Here we go. Here we are. Let's put this down. 20. Symbol. Default. We'll need... Let's do 6, actually. There we go. So you can see it here. Let's go to the month, because these are always solid for finding supports. Probably about there. Probably around there. That'll do. Okay. Void on the month. You lose 5 cents. You're looking at like 1.8 or 2 cents. Here's the problem. You lose that, and like you're just in price discovery all the way back down to fractions of a cent. This is probably the way I would look at it because that's a huge drop. I like what we're seeing. Let me make sure this is on log. It's on log. All right, I don't mind this. So what we do see here are Fibonacci extension and retracement tool giving us a little hopium here, or a little insight into support. Doge, the 618 retrace, the golden retrace, the golden retrace is sitting very close to that previous all-time high, or that previous spike from January 18, previous all-time high, at about 15 cents. I think 15 cents, not 15, 1.5 cents. These decimals are getting me. For those interested, maybe the opportunity. There's no guarantee it holds, but it could be at least the opportunity to begin scaling into a position if you want one. All of this is not financial advice. It's all just my opinion. If you think of it as anything else, you're wrong. Okay. Not a lot there. 15 or 0.15, 1.5 cents. That's where I'm gonna be looking for Doge. I don't know if I'll be a buyer then. I'm gonna be a buyer actually not based on USD. I will be a buyer of Doge based on its valuation against Bitcoin. So let's pull that up too. What is this? Why are all these charts goofy? Stop making them so big. Bring.
Love my brother. Stay in the fight. United States don't like the prices. Just wait. It will pay off. Full score. United States guide. Dog purple heart poor hash bud I check region letter U region letter S.
Aw. Mr. Jaw, did you have to be sending me super chats? Get out of here, brother. I love you, man. You can link your Instagram. Jaw, loved, longtime OG member of this community. I don't want to share your personal information, but had some health complications and has had a rough time. And my heart goes out to you, brother. I love you. I'm so happy he's found some purpose and passion making an Instagram for his service dog. And dude, it's so touching. I'm so happy that you've found some happiness. Feel free to link your Instagram here in chat, bro. Like 100%. You're allowed to. Don't worry. Like, I love you, man. I love you, dude. I'll be buying Doge based on BTC, not based on USD. And we're still pretty far from there. I might look to start re-entering maybe at 81 sats. Realistically, maybe closer to 50. But this is what I am. This is what I'm looking at as I sold Doge BTC all the way up to the very top. I'm going to look to rebuy it for, I don't know, a fraction of what I put in. I held Doge long before anyone thought it would be interesting. Did I do Cardano? It's coming up. It's in the queue. We're going to do XRP, then we're going to do Cardano, then we're going to do Ethereum. That's right. All right, XRP. I do have a short video out on XRP. You can check that out after the live stream. It's a 40-ish second clip. Let me pull that over here. 40-ish second clip, and it is taken out of our stream 2 days ago, where it's going to go over basically this. But it's cleaned up. Looks a little better. Let me pull it up. So XRP has broken 33 cents. Womp. Following the rest of the market. Not super surprising. We saw May's low. It hadn't broken it when we looked at it in the last stream. Now it has. Support below. 22 cents. That's where I'd be looking. You might find something here at 27 though. I don't know. XRP's chart is so smushed. It's so smushed. Like you might have support here. You had a good interaction. In the bear market, you found it as resistance over and over and over. Fell. Found resistance there again before rallying. This is likely a very traded price. That's at 30 cents. That's right where it is kind of now. Huh. I don't want to give people too much hope. I don't want them to be like, oh, I have to go all in now. Please don't do that. This is not financial advice. 30 cents is actually, I overlooked that. That could be actually a pretty contested zone. I will stick with what I was saying, though, is there is a void. It might be under 30 cents instead of under 33 cents. But there is a void here. Once you lose this level, you suddenly don't have that same support as you did. And you're likely to just fall through. Below that, this would be where my safety order would be. 22 cents. Farther below that, 17.5. And I think that's probably all... the real supports we need to look at. XRP not looking hot. The momentum is waning off. That's interesting. And weekly RSI. Wow, actually, this looks pretty spicy. Weekly RSI for XRP is at an all-time low. That tells us that there's bullish divergence because price isn't at an all-time low. We haven't seen that play out yet when you see some kind of reversal. But when it comes, this could be very strong. This could be a very strong bounce even if it's like a dead cat bounce. We could see a return maybe all the way up here to 60 cents. That'd be interesting. But there's XRP. We're jumping into Cardano. Smash the like button if you like any of the charts we've looked at so far. Gentle reminder, we've looked at Bitcoin, we've looked at SP500, Dow, NASDAQ, Gala, MATIC, CRO, SHIB, AVAX, DOT, TRX, HBAR, BNB, Doge, XRP. Now we're looking at Cardano. So smash the like buttons. Give it up. Give it up. We're trying to make everyone happy today. Trying to get to everyone's queens. ADA actually looking better than the rest of the market. Interesting. ADA kind of shining a little bit. Doesn't really mean that it's going to continue to do so, but at the moment is in a better position than virtually everything we looked at. I think HBAR in that category, TRX in that category. This one looks more kind of like HBAR than TRX though. May's low not broken on ADA. You do have a strong support at 36.1 cents. If ADA starts following the market, that's where I'll be looking. This does make a little bit of sense, though. I'll say this isn't mind-blowing to see ADA not selling off as hard as the rest of the market. That's not because I like ADA or something, but it's because ADA started retracing weirdly without the rest of the market. So ADA hit an all-time high in May of 2021. It did this ugly pattern, and then it broke to a new all-time high in August of 2021. The rest of the market was not at an all-time high in August of 2021. That was right off of the bottom in July, and then it just sold off. It has sold off since August. So all of November 2021, that whole rally to 69K, ADA didn't see any of those gains, didn't see any of those upsides. So to see it not selling off as hard right now does make a little sense. It didn't get that second push like the rest of the market did. It was already pulled down into this selling. And so it's already flushed out, let's say, most of its weak, well, a lot more of its weak orders than the rest of the market. ADA, I would be looking for 36 cents. If that breaks, you don't have a ton of support. It's kind of the XRP scenario I was just talking about. If 36 breaks, you get a close below. My sights are set on 14 cents for Cardano. It's trading at 45. Hasn't done this yet, but that is my logical conclusion. Below that, if you lose 14, you have 10 cents. That's, in my opinion, not likely to break. Not likely. Beautiful. Our 618 retracement sitting right there at that macro support. Right there. Our golden retracement. Boom. Right there. Almost overlapping with 14 cents. Wedged in between 14 and 10. That'd be a solid zone to look to either change a position, take a position, etc. Interesting. Cardano not pulling the rest of the market. Ethereum. Oh, Ethereum. I put a short out about this too. You can check that out as well. Oh, Ethereum. The era of the Ethereum maxi maybe is over. No, I'm just playing. Man, I feel bad. Though, if you started crypto in 2021 or 2022, actually probably just 2021. If you started in 2021, odds are that you have a lot of Ethereum. For the first time ever, I started hearing people say things like Ethereum maxi, how they didn't want Bitcoin, they only wanted Ethereum. Rough. Yeah, it's not a told you so, but this is a reason I've always preached you want to have at least 50% of your portfolio in Bitcoin, because when shit hits the fan, it is your rock. It is your stable coin. Yeah, it might not have the same upside as these low caps, but when it falls, it doesn't have the downside of these low caps. Crypto has gains. It has way unrealistic gains versus any other market. You don't need more risk. You want to manage the risk you have. There's going to be a lot of lessons learned from this. Ethereum is on its 10th? No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11th red candle in a row. We do have 6 days and 9 hours to go. Ethereum could rally back up, close above 40 or 14 to 1420, 1,420. Ha, blaze it. Do we have 420 likes yet is the question. We do. We hit 420 likes. I didn't even notice. Give yourselves a pat on the back, a little round of applause. Well done, fam. We keep our 420 license. Now we have to go for a 690. 69, nice. Ethereum broke through its previous all-time high, 1,420, back here in 2017-18. And we said the next support is what? 1,100. 1,100 should be a solid support in the short. That's what we said. I'm looking for 1,100. You have the issue that we've seen on many coins. If you break 1,100, you have the thing no one wants to hear when they're holding it. And trust me, guys, I got a bunch of Ethereum. I'm feeling the pain with you. You have a void. You don't have a lot of traded volume. You don't have support built. You really didn't trade there on the way up. You didn't find any resistance. You blew through it. Charts, you always got to pay the piper, man. You can't ignore the piper. You can ignore him, but he comes eventually, and you got to pay him. If you break 1,100, the numbers get a little more grim. You fall into the 3 digits, down into, let's call it like 750-ish. Depends on how you cut it. 750. That's where the volume starts back up. That's where the support potentially is lurking. Yep. You lose that 767 mark, and then you have actually a very strong. This is probably, I mean, second to down here in like the 100s. This is probably the strongest support Ethereum has, and that'd be at like 420. You had the previous consolidation before your peak in 2018. You found support there. You lost that support, and you dunked into the bear market. You struggled to find bids. You came back up. You did test it as resistance before breaking to a new all-time high. So this level is likely pretty cement. I would maybe compare that level to Bitcoin's like 10,500. Very unlikely to break. Possible to be tested. Highly unlikely to break, in my opinion. So there's Ethereum. I think I've missed some subscribers. What's up? Matthew Thompson has subscribed 1 minute ago. Great to have you, bro. Don't forget to jump in the Discord. Everybody, keep up with the live streams. Get the airdrop we'll be doing after live stream. We do every live stream. What's up, Kadrin Balakua? Bravo Tango Charlie. Dan Cohen. I got Dan Cohen. That's it. I think this thing's lying to me. If you're in here and you haven't subscribed yet, hit subscribe so we can test out if this is working. I don't think it's working. There's almost no way we have 1,000 viewers and only like 10 subscribers for the last hour. We probably gained 100 and it's just saying 10. Ethereum on the weekly looking very ugly, rolling into negative money flow. Momentum is down on the week. Markets are crap. Jay Irvin Villar. It worked. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate you being here. On the daily, looking ugly as well with money flow hitting a lower low on Ethereum. Momentum not there yet. Kind of good. This is a good little thing. VWAP is trending back to 0. That could start to pull money flow back up, but right now in this moment, I think it's pretty obvious that's not happening yet. Honestly, I'm looking for 1,100 to get hit. I might look to gamble. I might personally look to gamble a little bit down there. Maybe take a little position, try to hit back to like 1420, maybe as high as 17. Not financial advice. Please don't follow my trades. I am not always right. Know your risks before you take them. Can I do it like this? Can I get just under 1,000? 5 to 1? Yeah, I'll take that. I might take that gamble. We'll see how the market's feeling at that time. There we go. What's up, Islam Falmi, James Jamieson, Hexa Decimate, Bruno Nascimento, J. Irvin Valor. I already got you. Thanks, guys. I don't know. I feel like it still doesn't work. Did anybody subscribe and I didn't shout you out? That's how we'll know if it's broken. Let me know in the chat. Will Bitcoin break the 200 MA weekly? We've got close to 600 votes. 70% saying yes. That is an agreement. That's a consensus. We are in consensus. Honestly, I'd say yes too. We're like within 1%. We're pretty close. Your joint went out because it's humid. Paul, we have our 420 license. Do whatever you do. You don't think yours did? SGGJ. It did not. I didn't see it. You did sub to the channel. Thunderheart Gaming. Thank you, brother. AVAX BTC, please, dude, mooning strange. We did look at AVAX. We didn't look at AVAX BTC. We still have more to get through, but I will pull this up because I asked earlier, because Binance, all right, they have a green candle. I wouldn't necessarily say mooning, but yeah, a green candle. And that is weird. The rest of the market not really doing that. Get rid of this. I did ask for examples if anyone found any, because we looked at BNB BTC and it was up versus May of last year. You can see that is not true. That is not true of AVAX, unfortunately. Where are you, May? Down 61%. So very different. I mean, you have a green candle. I wouldn't get excited. BNB, though, since May of last year, is up 40% against Bitcoin. BNB BTC. That is odd. We do not see this across the market right now. And I asked you guys if you see any coins in BTC pair that are up since May versus Bitcoin, let me know. So thanks for pointing it out. This one isn't quite. There we go. We got some more. Salih Basin. Welcome, my friend. Engad Sang. C ampersand at and subscribed. Welcome, guys. Good to have you. Again, let me know in chat. If it didn't read it, I'll shout you out. What's up, Cars and Crypto? Well, the S&P created double bottom. I don't know. Not yet. Certainly not yet. Because you went lower. So, no double bottom. Could. I don't know. That would probably take some time to play out. Did I measure from May of 2022 on BNB BTC? No, I didn't. Did I? I don't think I did. I might have. I'm a little scatterbrained today. It's a wild day. I don't think I did, though. No, I didn't. Get your facts straight, son. Get your facts straight. No, I'm just playing. It's hard to see. I know it's hard to see for you guys. But that's May of 2021. There's not a lot of them. I don't know. Can you guys name any? Can you name any? Sergio Sokite. Very insightful statement there, man. You're probably correct. I wouldn't doubt it. No, that's not true. Well, you're right, but it's not the only. There are very, very few. Doge is definitely up versus 2017 in BTC pair. Definitely up. Absolutely. But you're right, man. It is one of the few, like, we call them 2017 coins, that is up. BNB and Doge are the only two I can name off the top of my head. Maybe Ethereum, but that's like kind of not the same premise. Like, these are really up off their low. Ethereum maybe is like close to where it was. It's still down from its all-time high in 2017. Spicy, though. Spicy. If you guys can name any more, bring them at me. Bring them at me. Solana. We can get to Solana. We have to look at LTC. We have to look at APE. And then we can do Solana. I'll pull it up. I didn't do Solana the other day, I don't think. It's mostly because if a chart doesn't have a bunch of months of traded history, we're not going to get these super confident support levels. We might have some levels, but they're not going to be really the same strength as we would see on a monthly time frame. That's a big time frame. Lots of traded volume. Very visible. My dog is barking like crazy. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's very distracting for me. Love my dog, but stop barking. Okay. She stopped. Let me do something here quick. I just gotta make sure everything's good on this side. Okay. So LTC broke $50. I'm surprised. I'm saddened. I have a lot of LTC. It's still up off of its March 2020 low. That's the copium I got. I think it's still at, what, all-time lows, basically, against BTC. I don't count these wicks because that's just illiquidity. They're not real. I only really count, like, maybe the candle closes. Which we'll see if they ever closed on the day. I don't think they did. No. See, these are just wicks intraday. I don't count those. So if you don't count those, Litecoin against Bitcoin at its all-time low. Here, like today, it just bounced a little bit. Savage. That's what we were meaning with the 2017 coins. They're all down. Most of them look like this. Litecoin may be the worst of all of them. Yikes. I haven't lost faith in Litecoin. I'm not going to sell my Litecoin here because, I don't know. I'm not going to sell here because it's down. I'm going to take my licks. Maybe learn from them. Litecoin, we are looking. There is some support at 40 bucks. 39.20. Below that, 33, I'll call it. And then the support that I think is very, very unlikely to be tested. And if it is, extremely unlikely to break, 25 bucks. I don't plan on buying any more Litecoin until it reaches, or if it does reach, 25 bucks. Or the scenario where LTC, BTC, this is my next kind of plan buy, hits 0015. Hits 0015, I'm going to make another buy. I might make another buy at 001, but then I'm done. Like, if it goes lower, I'm done. I'm just going to sit in my misery. We can commiserate together. Let's take a look at Ape. I have a feeling it's eating some shit. Nice, right into our pocket. So Ape doesn't have the traded history to have those monthly levels, but we did identify a pretty cool convergence. That's hard to see. We did identify a pretty cool price level, and we got that from March's swing low to April's swing high. By the way, we nailed the swing high on Ape on this stream live. Some of you guys were there. We nailed it. The extension, the 2 extension, the measured move down here at 327. If we use this bottom, which I don't usually use, and we use our Fibonacci retracement tool, the 618 is right above there. And we said this is kind of a theoretical support. It's not a literal support. But because they're so close together, we might find some kind of support there. And it's interesting because we are. Let's zoom in. We did. It doesn't necessarily mean the bottom's in, but price kind of lost its interest in falling right at the bottom of there. If it falls from there, I don't know, man. The floor, the opposite of the moon, the floor is on deck if it loses this level, in my opinion. I'm not very confident in Ape. We're going to move on to Sol, because I know you guys want to look at Sol. You want to see my Sol. I have my tabs set up differently than usual. How are you guys feeling? We can keep grinding through. I got time. If you guys don't follow me on Twitter, maybe you should. You'll get up-to-date news. Like, I tweeted the Celsius thing at 10:45 last night. The news broke at like 10:30 when I got an email, the image email. I sent it out. This is the link for today's live stream. If you want to give it a like or a retweet, help get a little more traffic going there on Twitter. Maybe bring some eyes here. I appreciate you. All right, so Solana. On the monthly time frame, you have very little support here. It already broke 40. It already broke 32. I am seeing something I might have overlooked previously, and that would be, we see the monthly opened here. It rallied. It did pull back right to that monthly open and then broke to a new all-time high. So we did have a major reversal there on the monthly, even though it's harder to see here. I kind of picked this up on the weekly. Yeah, I picked this up on the weekly when I saw it, when I opened this chart. And that would give us about 20 bucks. 20 bucks is looking pretty likely. $20 test is looking very likely. Oh yeah, even when I said this, when we started, when we did this the other day in the live stream 2 days ago, which is all timestamped, by the way. If you go back and watch it, you can pick out these coins one by one. I said we have kind of a consolidation on the weekly at 14 bucks, but this is not major and it looks weak to me. Interesting, I didn't catch this. I think 20 is the major support on Solana. 1939. You do have something at 1433, but I don't think that's likely to offer any significant support. And here is your dilemma. If you break that $19.40, $20 area, you got almost nothing. You have another one of those voids. The spooky void. The void champions. Very little traded volume. Price didn't really spend any time there. It didn't consolidate, didn't build support and resistance. It just went up through it. So if you break 1940, all of a sudden like $5 is on the table, and that's a pretty dramatic drop. That's a 75% drop. That's huge. That's savage. I don't love this chart. That's why I'm a little skeptical. Nice. 618. Oof. I mean, and then I guess it has support at like $1.30 also. Likely to be stronger support here. This isn't a void in the way the area of price above it is from like 5 to 20. This is consolidation, at least for Solana. This is the problem with new coins, and this is why sometimes we won't chart things because there's not enough history. But this is kind of coming up now as a lesson of like why new coins going nuts, like rallying, pumping like crazy, isn't really a good thing. It's really hard to explain to new investors because they say, oh, you're just mad because Bitcoin's not moving or something. You know, you're stupid. I know what I'm doing. You don't. When you do these moves, like Solana did, you don't build. You have one zone of support. You might have two zones of support. You don't build supports. So when you inevitably drop, when the market contracts back down, there's nothing to catch you. There's nothing to catch you. That's what makes Bitcoin strong also, is it has so many of these levels of support built historically, going all the way back to $1, or going back to a penny, I guess. And so when the shit hits the fan, Bitcoin finds support eventually. Buyers of last resort come in. I hope Solana holds. I hope it holds 1940. I might look to make a play off of that. Let's see. If it hits 1940, might look for a play back to 67.70, back test that previous support as resistance, and then maybe get meteor smashed. We'll see. It is not the time for that yet. Elliott wave looks complete. How could you say Elliott wave looks complete when you have just red candles? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 red candles in a row. Not a criticism, not trying to call you out. Elliott wave, I mean, here's what you're seeing. I'll give you that this looks like a pretty smooth Elliott wave. Like, I see it. We have what? This would be 3. This would be 5. This would be 4. This would be 2. I guess like this is 1. And then you have A, B, and now you're saying it looks complete because you're saying you see like C, but you don't have a reversal of any kind. So you don't have any kind of C. You have like a C somewhere. Like could be here, could be all the way down here. Like be very careful calling Elliott waves early. I don't believe Elliott waves work in crypto at all. That's my own opinion. I know people who trade with Elliott waves and they do well. You know, I don't know. Everyone trades differently. There's no right way to do it. But be very careful because Elliott wave can get you in these little mental traps of like, this is C, so we're done. Now we're going up. This could just do this again. And then all of a sudden, people have to re-scramble and be like, actually, this was A, this was B, and then like down here, C now. So just be careful. I like the technical mindset. I like that you're thinking, your brain's going. But just be careful. Skippy FX sold everything last night. Cool. Feeling great. I'm glad you're feeling great, Skippy. Big fish. Any news on TRX issues? The only thing I really know going on with TRX is their USDD is pretty controversial right now. That they're throwing assets at it. Even though it is an algorithmic stablecoin like UST, and it is likely, I mean, I don't know if likely is the word, but it is reasonable that it will suffer the same fate. It's a reasonable expectation. Elliott wave does not work for me. I mean, that's how I feel, William. But I do know I know some talented traders. Ian Barnes, if you're out there, Ian. Ian Barnes, very talented trader. I've seen him use Elliott wave, and I've seen him be successful for years. So, who is Elliott waving to? That's the real question, Paul. Why does he keep waving? Do I really think he can go 300% from support in this market? You mean on SOL? That would be a 200% gain. From 20 to like 60. 200% gain. But yeah. I mean, so yes, I believe it can happen. We've seen things like this happen. Here. It would look something like that. 200% gain sounds crazy, but if you like really understand what's happening is price fell 92% in this scenario. it rallied, let's say 200%. And then we would likely see it fall another 90%, or another 92%. Exactly, that's wild. 92% fall, 200% gain, 92% fall. That 200% gain is not really big. It's really not that impressive. There was no support build there, so there's very few orders. There's very few held coins, I guess, in profit below there. So that bounce really doesn't get sold by anyone except for market makers. And what they're doing is they're just hunting stops. They're stopping out shorts, they're baiting in longs, they're getting liquidity, and they're pushing the market back down. Now, we don't know this is going to happen. I'm just speculating. If we see support hold, if we see a bounce off of 1940, I would look for a 618 retracement. That would bring us like in the 60 range. If we look at the macro, that would actually be up at like near 100. If you look at the highest point to the lowest point, it would actually be a bigger bounce. But you can get big bounces. In fact, bear markets are typically full of big bounces. Full of them. Problem is they get hammered. They just get sold off. They rally up, like short squeeze, and then fall. I would say that the bear market, honestly, from my years of experience, the bear market has like more hype pumps. Like the pumps are very strong and quick, and everyone gets excited again, and then they just get smashed over and over again. Where in the bull market, it's more of like a slow build up, and then these fast spikes down, and then a slow build up, higher and higher, higher, like smashes back down, stairs up, elevator down in the bull market, stairs down, elevator up in a bear market. Little rule of thumb for y'all. 70% of us think the 200 will be tested. Well, 70% of us maybe are about to be right. That 200 weekly curling up, sitting 22,366, currently trading 23,180. Pretty likely. Pretty darn likely. Man, we had 1,000 viewers. It's trickling off a little bit. We can get to 690 likes, though. We got 680 watching. We have 590. Can we get another 70 likes? We can do that right now if everyone who hears this that hasn't hit like hits it. We can get to 69.0. Nice. And then we can have our nice license. Nice licenses. What do you guys want to see? What do you guys want to talk about? Tell me, I'm going to read the chat now. Just tell me what you're feeling. What's on your minds, but what would be valuable for you guys to see right now? Sell it all, buy an index fund, says N. Butler. That's risky. I don't really like selling on red. Oh, wow. Dixie, you're right, man. William S. Dixie. Looks like Dixie broke kind of as expected. I hate to say it because we're not right all the time. I don't want to make that illusion that maybe we're always right. We're not. But we speculated this last week. We got the close. Got the close on the weekly and said, it's looking to go. It has hit and broken, but I'd say it's within a margin of error of just retesting the high. If we see a breakout on the dollar, what do we expect? Well, let's use our brains here for a minute. June 15th. Today is June 13th. So in 2 days, so on Wednesday, the Fed has our FOMC meeting. We will be live streaming it here as we always do. So hopefully you join us. They have discussed heavier, more hawkish interest rates from 50 BPS to 75 to combat May's 40-year high historical inflation rate. If they do a 75% BPS rate hike, or even a 50, even a 50, but the market's kind of baked that in. If they do a 75, seeing this dollar move up to 108, the Dixie, I think that's very probable. I think that's very probable. And unfortunately, what that means for everything else is more selling pressure. More selling pressure. We'll see. They could, as we've been speculating since they announced the rate hike schedule, I've been saying I think they're going to walk it back. I don't think they're going to be able to actually stay on this schedule. I don't think they're going to be able to do 8 hikes in 2022. I think they'll crash the markets. What are we seeing? Markets are crashing, right? If they continue to do this, stocks aren't going to get much relief. Crypto maybe as well. So far it has followed. Not really good. But at some point the Fed is going to be staring in the face the reality of, if we continue to do this, we will obliterate US markets. And no, the Fed isn't tasked with making sure stocks are good, okay? Like, that's not their job. Their tasks are to manage monetary policy like inflation and to address unemployment. Those are its tasks. So unless we see unemployment spike, the Fed isn't supposed to ease. Unemployment hasn't really spiked yet. I think it very well could, especially with all these assets crashing. There's less money around. But I think they may even be forced to just pull back. Like, at some point, people are going broke. Like, they were already going broke for since 2020 or before then. This probably crushing people left and right, especially those looking to retire. The Fed may have to kind of go off script. They may go off script just for the good of the country, and we have elections coming up. Like, maybe money will pressure them. Money might pressure them into doing that. Anyway, back to reading the chat. Bullcrab. George May. Tom, you're a really genius trader. Great work you share with all of us. Well, George, I don't know if I'm a genius trader, man, but I appreciate you. Thanks for the kind words. I've just been doing this every day for so many years. I'm just telling you what I'm thinking. It's not always genius. It's just where my brain's at. Bullcrab. Veteran Timepiece likes big bounces and he cannot lie. Let me refresh the chat. Hyperinflation coming, yep. Jacob Green is true. The reason the dollar is rallying is not because the dollar is actually expanding in purchase power. No, in fact, we know the opposite. Inflation is at its highest rate in 40 years. It's losing purchasing power. So why is the Dixie going up? That's because the euro, yen, what was it, the Swiss franc, the Dixie is not a purchasing power metric. It is a basket, as you said. It's a basket of 5 major currencies that the dollar is compared to. So in reality, what's happening is the euro, the yen, franc, whatever, those other 5 currencies are actually losing purchasing power faster than the dollar. It is actually pretty akin to a BTC pair in crypto. We see Litecoin at its all-time low against Bitcoin. That is similar to like maybe the euro dumping. I can't do that. I can't just freestyle that comparison, actually. The comparison's there, but Litecoin isn't the right example. BNB. BNB is up, even though the market's down. It's not that BNB has gone up in value, right? BNB has come down in value. But BNB BTC has gone up because it's simply lost less than Bitcoin. They're both losing, but BNB losing less, which makes it look like it's going up. That's what's happening with the dollar. The dollar is simply losing less value than the other currencies. It's a very weird scenario. It's very counterintuitive. Scott Looks, that's some good tips. A lot of us are impacted by Celsius. At the beginning of this episode, we addressed that. Here's a pro tip. This is going to deliver some value. Great that you brought that up, Scott. I wouldn't have thought of it. On Celsius, there's a 24-hour wait list. A 24-hour whitelist period. Meaning, if you have never added addresses to withdraw on Celsius, which probably many of you hadn't, for each one of your assets that you have on there, go do that now. Go whitelist your wallets so that if or when they unpause them, you can withdraw right away. If you don't whitelist addresses now, and then you wait until they unpause, and you go in to withdraw, you're not going to be able to withdraw for 24 hours. And with the situation being kind of as fragile as it is, that 24 hours may mean you don't get your assets. It's just speculation. I'm just trying to give you guys the information you need to be successful. That's a great tip, bro. I'm really glad you brought that up. That is not on every exchange. You don't always have to do that. But Celsius, you add it right now, you won't be able to withdraw to an address, assuming they unpaused it in the next 24 hours, until 24 hours from right now. You don't want to wait until they unpause to add them. Period. That's bad news. It's bad news bears. Is it 7 currencies? I thought it was 5 major currencies. See, I'm not always right. 7. Oh well, 7.5. It's the concept that makes sense. The yen's crashing. Yeah, and euro was crashing for a long time. Other other currencies are just way more down than the dollar. Whitelisting doesn't matter if they file for bankruptcy. First Coast Crypto, obviously, man, but that isn't valuable, right? Like, we're just trying to deliver value to people here. Like, giving up and saying I'm never going to get those assets, sure, you can do that, but that's not valuable. You could say, all right, they may, and so I'll be prepared. It makes much more sense to just go add your whitelists than to say, I won't ever get my assets back, right? Adding your whitelists, how long does that take? Not very long. Potentially you do get your assets. You're not just giving up hope in them. Maybe you get them back, maybe you don't. I have thousands of dollars on there. I'm feeling everyone here today. I know people lost a lot of money. I lost, at the moment, I don't have access to money. It does not feel good. But whitelisting right now is a smart move. Go do it. Like, I never tell people to turn the stream off. Actually, don't turn the stream off. Just, you can mute it if you need to. Just open a new tab. But go do that right now. It's really important. That's really important. Everything's crashing. What fixes this? The Fed walking back their hawkish rate schedule. Okay, let's catch up. My Wi-Fi doesn't like your channel. I'm sorry, Dylan's Games. I'm sorry. Treasuries are selling off today. Not yet, soon. How to unpause a rug pull? I don't know, bro. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I wonder how long it will take the SEC to get involved. You took some change out of Celsius. Happy you did that. I'm happy you did that, man. They've been, it's been a little sketchy at Celsius the last week. Heard a lot of FUD, a lot of rumors. And last night they sent the email. They sent the sad email out. Let me pull it up. I'll show you the email that you get. So this is what they sent out. I tweeted this. This was like 15 minutes after. You see 10:30. This was like 10:45. Yep, 15 minutes. So a reason to follow me on Twitter. Get up-to-date breaking news that I can't really deliver in the same speed. They sent this out and it says, we're writing with a very important message for our community due to extreme market conditions. Today we're announcing that Celsius is pausing all withdrawals, swaps, and transfers between accounts. Note, Scott Luck's right on the dot here. That doesn't say we're also freezing whitelists. You know, like, we're not, you can still add whitelist address, at least according to the language here. We are taking this action today to put Celsius in a better position to honor over time its withdrawal obligations. Yeah, that's not really... It goes on to say, like, we're acting in the interest of our customers and our number one priority is to preserve their assets. Not really a great take. Not really, like, a comforting email. I did not sleep well after that. I got it and I was like, crap, I have to go to bed. I just got a notification. Maybe someone followed me. Shout out to whoever did, if you did. Love you. 662 likes, guys. This is an emergency. 28 likes to 69-0. To 69-0 likes. We can do it. Watch out, the floor is lava. Hey, what a good time to play that song. We haven't played that in a while. This is like our favorite bear market song. Did they take it off? It might no longer be available. It's no longer available. Oh, it's no longer like copyright free. So I could play it, but then we potentially the stream could get shut off. More likely we'll get a copyright claim, which means I won't get monetization from the stream, which I'm like okay with. I don't know. That song is pretty great. It might be worth it. Might lose like $100 or something just to play a 2-minute long song that no one else in the world listens to except for the stream. Maybe we'll do a vote. Whitelisting means that you have set up the address to which an asset, like you put one down for Bitcoin, you put an address that when or if you can withdraw in the future, that you withdraw to that address. If you don't have one set, you can't withdraw, period, no matter what, even if it wasn't paused. So the reason I'm saying go set them is, say they do open up withdrawals, if you don't have a whitelist set, you're going to wait 24 hours after you set it to be able to use that address. You don't want to wait 24 hours after they unpause it to withdraw. You want to withdraw, like we said at the beginning of this episode, if and when it happens, immediately. You want to be ready to go. You want to do it the second it unpauses, as soon as you can. I will at you guys in the Discord if I get notice of that early. I will put it on Twitter. I'll put it everywhere I can to give you guys a heads up. But this is looking very much like a bank run. And in a bank run, you don't want to be 24 hours after the bank run happens. You want to be on it right away. The Fed will continue raising rates. That is their plan, or at least their stated plan. I've learned not to trust the Fed and what they say, so I'm skeptical. But there's major FUD that they'll become more hawkish after the meeting this week. And I don't know if it's a rumor or not, but I did read something saying they were looking at a 75 BPS hike. I think that if the Fed is crazy, that is likely. If the Fed is just like absolute madman, that's likely. After the May CPI numbers are the highest in 40 years, they can't with good conscience come to us and say what they've been saying, like, oh, it's under control, inflation's okay, we've got it under control. If it's under control, why is it spiking to a 40-year high? And the response that they're expected to make is to become more hawkish. Time will tell. Time will tell. Horrible email. Yeah, dude. Yeah. I slept like crap last night because of it. Yeah, don't give them a reason to ban you. Well, they wouldn't ban me, but it's possible the stream would go down. And then it's likely that I would get a copyright claim. Not a copyright strike, but a claim. And basically, the owner of the video or of the music then would like collect the revenue for the stream. There is potential for a strike. I've never gotten one doing that, and I've gotten many claims. It's probably not worth it. I could sing it for you. It's "Watch Out, the Floor is Lava." And yeah, that's it. It's a good bear market song. Feel sorry for everyone who's wrecked today. Amen, Jason. Jason Ferguson, I feel you. And for everyone with money on Celsius, myself included. Nice. B-Boy Cymek quit vaping e-cigs today. You want your health back. Amen, dude. You're a stronger person than I am. I've been thinking about it more and more. I've been working the nicotine milligrams down. There's only one level under this. It's been a while since I cranked down. I should do that again in my next purchase. Many of your assets are put up as collateral. Sorry to hear that, man. The poop market. Thoughts with you guys. Thoughts going out to everyone, man. Ethereum TA is the same as it was. We already covered it on the stream, and there is a short video that I released that has the same info. I can paste that for you. I'll get the link. Actually, let's do the playlist. There we go. Here's the playlist. If you want to see the shorts, which are like the Ethereum, I did an Ethereum, a Ripple, and a Cardano short. There's the playlist. They're 30-second short clips that just go over all of what we go over here. Nothing has really changed since then, except price has broken 14, like we were kind of saying, and got very close to 1100. Very close. But check out that playlist. It'll have all the. I'll be uploading more actually today after the podcast. But yeah, the Ethereum. This is really no words needed. This is Ethereum right now. And get rid of this arrow. There you go. You get 1100, and if you lose 1100, it looks bad. I would watch that short. The shorts, I think I did a really good job on. I edited those in kind of a different fashion, short fashion. The Celsius issue has made me get a ledger, take my crypto off exchanges. Shout out Chris Carter, man. Not your keys, not your coins. 100%. That used to be a really big thing that people would always say. I think that's because the memories of Mt. Gox were fresh back then. And actually, interesting note. So on January, I think it's January 4th or 14th, something like that is Own Your Keys Day. It's like a made-up crypto holiday. And every year, I've seen people like celebrate it or at least talk about it on that day. And it's interesting because this year was the first year I don't remember anyone talking about it. I didn't see any tweets, I didn't see any streams, any videos. And it's interesting because now we're seeing this happen. Doesn't bode well for assets on any exchange. I would withdraw I plan on withdrawing from like every exchange later today. It's weird. It wasn't talked about. Now we have it happen. Nothing had really happened in many years. And technically nothing's happened with Celsius yet. But from what we know about crypto history, when exchanges pause withdrawals, it's usually the beginning of the end for that exchange. Just be ready. Make sure your whitelist addresses are set on Celsius. Follow them closely. Watch for an unpausing announcement and withdraw as soon as you can, as fast as you can. Just be ready. That's all I can say. This is Ethereum. BTC up 6.8%. Is that a dead cat? No. No, a dead cat. A dead cat bounce has to be like, I guess there is no definition. There's no like literal definition, I guess. But a dead cat bounce, especially in crypto, you'd expect a lot more than that. You'd expect like a significant retracement. Let's see where that might be now though, because that's changed. Maybe 36.1. That seems a little low. It has to be enough to essentially get everyone bullish again. That's what a dead cat would be. 45. I can see 45. Not saying this is going to happen, but this is the dead cat scenario that we've talked about a good bit lately that I'm afraid of, is that we do see that dead cat bounce back, and it was previously like 48K or 37K. Let's call it 45 and then fall. That would be very bad. Honestly, even back to just whatever it was, like 37-ish, that would be very bad. You can even kind of see... I didn't draw that straight. I can't do it. You can even kind of see a descending trend there that might line up. That is the real fear. For me, like the lows, the faster and harder it falls without a bounce actually makes me more comfortable. Because I know, or at least I have watched charts long enough to internalize the concept of the faster and longer something moves in just one direction, the closer it is to reversing. I start sweating when we see that happen. The reverse happens, but it gets sold off before it can reach a new high. That's when I start sweating. So if we see a big bounce, I guess it could be just back to like 36, but I would say even as high as 45, 48, and then we see sellers, that's when it gets scary. The reason this isn't scary, like I said, is closer to reversing, is that's just mathematically, this is mathematically impossible for Bitcoin to maintain this selling, let's call it decline. It's mathematically impossible. Because, don't worry, I'm not just going to leave that there. It's mathematically impossible because you're on an exponential curve. As we zoom in, it'll get more and more exponential. Anything that's exponential has to collapse eventually. It cannot remain exponential indefinitely. That's just a fundamental law of the universe. So you can kind of visualize it here maybe on the hourly. If we maintain this gradient, how long does it take us to get to zero? Like a month. Maybe a little more. June, July, August, September. Yeah, it would take like to September to get to zero. No. You can't indefinitely logarithmic or exponentially move up or down. You eventually hit like a hard lock from, I don't know, the universe's mathematics. I can't explain to you further than that. Anything that grows exponentially, if it doesn't collapse, eventually it will take up the entire universe. And it does not take long. It's much shorter than you'd expect. That's why they don't exist. We're just hovering down here at the 200 WMA. Dang. I was really hoping we would get, I don't know, some kind of capitulation or some kind of dump through it, and it's not looking super likely. At least during the live stream. 200 weekly is slowly inching up. Volume is very much up. Maybe we see, it could be today, or it could be tomorrow. That's maybe kind of what I would look for. spike down. I don't know. Don't really pay attention to where this line is. Just this kind of formation. This could pull down farther. But some kind of pull under the 200 weekly. And then a buying response and a rally. And that rally is either a dead cat bounce or it's a return to an all-time high. We'll find out. No one knows. Flip's sake, Tom. It wasn't a big enough short to matter. I missed it. I missed my own goddamn entry to this short. The same play as last year, 2021. I went short at 48K, held it all the way through, closed it back down in profit, collected funding the whole time. And I said when we got down here, I'm going to open a short at 48K again just to show the bears I'm better at trading than them. And we did hit 48K, and I just forgot to set the limit order. I wasn't paying attention. It was very brief. But if I had hit that, I would be so comfortable. I would be in the exact same position I was in last year, where people were like, you're crazy for going short. It's going back to the moon. That would have aged so well. 48K, dude. I wouldn't shut up about it last year. The only reason I shut up about it this year is because I didn't catch my short in time. I am sad. I am sad. 5 minute, actually looking for some upside, I think. Looking for a little more continued upside. Let's look at that very, very locally. Kind of back here, maybe. Interesting. I think it's looking for some more upside. Money flow, here's my reasoning. Money flow has been setting lower highs. 1, 2, 3, 4 lower highs. Set a lower or a higher low, whatever. And now we're seeing the 5 minute very much look to roll over. Yes, it could just do what it's done and kind of just get sold off again, right? But at the moment, it looks like it wants to roll over and go into some kind of positive money flow. Momentum is cementing that for me. VWAP is the only kind of outlier here on the 5 minute because it's pointing back down. But we see that this has had kind of like a crown here of VWAP. We can see that happen again. This is the 5 minute chart. So even if all of this plays out exactly as I want it to, you know, maybe that brings us back here to 24/7. You know, like we're not talking a big move. We'd have to see things really start moving. Really start moving. Or at least maybe on higher time frames. What about higher time frames? 15, I do see that same rolling over feel, but much farther away than the 30. Yeah, and than the 5. The 30 not looking good. Like VWAP higher high, cool. But momentum is just remaining zero. Bears are in control. We have a lower low on money flow. 30 minute not looking bullish. Hourly, same setup, not looking bullish. 2 hours, I mean, maybe you're painting a V bottom, but like you're catching knives here if you're doing anything. 4 hour looks like garbage. 12 hour looks like hot garbage. Dang. We were so close on the 12 hour rolling over too. That was a savage fake out. This remains, I pointed this out in the last stream. This remains the only bullish even argument I can find on a technical level. VWAP now, this wasn't true when we first looked at it, but VWAP now is pointing back towards zero. That may pull the market. It tends to. Momentum is very low. It's definitely not showing us that it's bottomed, but it's still very far from creating a lower low. We'd have to see a really extreme selling event. I don't even know if 20K would cut it. I think you need to see like below 20K to pull that momentum lower. I don't think that's likely. Meaning I don't think the momentum is going to pull lower. I think it's going to bottom out somewhere for a higher low. And the bullish argument, and this is some copium, like this is not worth betting on, is that money flow on the daily, unlike other time frames, actually is looking okay. It's very much red, but it reached a low. It made a higher low. It broke, I guess we'll call that a high. It broke its high, made a higher high, whatever. And now it's pointing back down. So as long as it doesn't break these previous highs back here, it can really do whatever. And it's still looking to roll over. That's the only copium I got. That's it. On any time frame, that's it. The 200 weekly is there. That's it. Things don't look good. They do not look good. Something I noticed last night that I'm bummed about is Market Cipher. We did have that green dot reversal earlier last week. And by the time the weekly closed, it was no longer there into the close. And so this looks bad. That's bad. Momentum faked us out. That is no good. VWAP pointing back down. We might argue that money flow is rounding, but like that's even higher grade copium at that point. Nothing looks good. Nothing looks good, dude. 200 weekly sneaking up. Sneaking up slowly but surely. What's up, Shalom? Never been more bullish on Bitcoin for a short play. I think I'll be more bullish on the 200 weekly. Off the 200 weekly, I'd be more bullish. We broke 690 likes. I guess the only target we have now is 1,000. Can we get 4-figure likes on this stream? I don't know. It's up to you. In theory, we could do it right now. We have 700 viewers. I'm sure 276 of them haven't hit like yet. And if you do, we'll get there. And I appreciate you. It helps the stream have more discoverability on YouTube's platform. It shows it to more people. Makes a difference. Definitely make sure you're in the Discord for after the live stream. We're not done, but price is kind of chilling. We do live airdrops, so all you have to do is hit the verify button, and then you'll get some Satoshis just from being in there. It's not a lot of money, but maybe it is someday, right? You'll get them every live stream just by being in there. I am going to be on the We Are CC podcast, the Our Cryptocurrency on Reddit's official podcast at 3 or 3:30 today on Reddit. I have a feeling it's going to be a spicy one. They usually get about 200,000 views. This one I think could break 500,000. Liked and subscribed. You can follow me on Twitter. I'll be tweeting. I tweet up to date, kind of breaking news like the Celsius thing last night, long before any news covered it. Last but not least, we're done with shills. Check out our sponsors. Market Cipher. You see me using it here. This isn't even the whole tool suite. This is just my favorite. This is Market Cipher B. There's a few more included in Market Cipher. I find it highly valuable in trading. Check it out if you haven't yet. If you're serious about trading, it's a great tool to have. And Phemex, our sponsor, who we're regularly trading on. It's not to trade live today because there's too much going on. But Phemex, great exchange. I've used them for years. I trust them as far as I can trust an exchange, which after the Celsius thing is slightly less than last week. I've used both of these things long before they sponsored our channel, but shout out to them for keeping the lights on through the bear market, man. We'll be here. Hopefully you're here too. Let's see. What should we look at? What do you guys want to see? Let's close this poll because it is clear that the majority of us think we're breaking the 200 weekly. Paul's blood alcohol level is inversely correlated to Bitcoin's price. That's clever, man. That's a chart joke. I like chart jokes. They're trendy. Big players have their buyers at 18,000. Why do you think that? Relaxing flights. Why do you think 18,000? Curious. Uniswap. CHSB. You want to see more green candles? Me too. Oh no, Y2K. Me too. Get the yeah, dude, you got it. If Bitcoin spikes, you better sober the F up, man. What's the difference between Market Cipher and Vu Manchu? I have no idea. I have no idea what Vu Manchu is. I've never heard of it. Likely Vu Manchu or whatever is a copy of Market Cipher. There's many kind of imitation Market Ciphers out there, but they're not the same sauce. They just look similar. Weekly RSI for Bitcoin is in the dirt. It's probably lower. It's definitely lower than March of 2020 because it was, because it was even, 2 days ago. Is this the lowest RSI? This is the lowest RSI on the weekly for Coinbase ever. Let's look at BLX. What was it on BLX? 27? What's it at now on Coinbase? 28? So it's possible. It's possible that this is the lowest weekly RSI Bitcoin has ever seen, meaning this is the most oversold Bitcoin has ever been on a weekly time frame. That's a big time frame. Ever. Potentially, right here. If not, then maybe there was one other time that isn't on Coinbase's history, and it was, what, back in 2014-15. Either way, even if it isn't lower than 2014-15, it's like equally low as when price sold from, where did it even sell from? Like 1,000, 1,100, let's see, 1,200 down to like 160, 170. So to put that in perspective, what's interesting here too, also Shalom, good eye, man. Good eye. What's interesting here as well is this was a much deeper retracement. This is the RSI point we're looking at. And what's kind of doubly spicy about this, man, Shalom, he's an OG. He's got a good head on him. Price also at the 200 weekly. That's pretty interesting. Do with that information as you will. We don't give financial advice here. But that's spicy, man. RSI, no matter how you cut it on the week, is extremely oversold. What about the month? Monthly RSI. Actually, likely also record setting here. Yep. Monthly RSI at the moment, record setting as well, all the way down at 43. Let's see what BLX has to say about that. This very well may be right now the most oversold Bitcoin has ever been in its history. I can say that pretty comfortably. In its history. 13 years. Right now, this moment is the most oversold it's ever been. I honestly wouldn't have expected that. If you had told me, gone back in time and told me that from 69K we would trade down to 22, that would be the most oversold Bitcoin's ever been, I wouldn't have believed that. I would have thought that's not a big enough of a drop for that to be true. I think it's because it's the lack of bounce. We have had virtually no relief bounce all the way down. And so that selling pressure is building up over time and becoming progressively more and more oversold. The 4 hour is currently bullish engulfed. However, it's only 30 minutes in, and that's not nearly long enough to get excited. But we can say there's likely 2 pivots here, or 2 supports that are very local to price. We can see that the last hourly closed there. Currently, this hourly is above that point. And a little back test on the 5 minute, but that's not really enough for me to get excited. I do think there is some short-term upside. I do agree with Shalom. I'm looking for some short-term upside. I am not going to pretend I know how far that will go, though. It's either a dead cat bounce. It's either a dead cat bounce, or we're going back to a new all-time high. I don't know. Someone posted a chart where you can see the buy orders. So relaxing inflates, that's likely, it's called an order book. And so there's some flaws with that is, one, unless that order book is an aggregate of all exchanges, it's only representing one exchange. And kind of a flaw with that as well is even if it's representing every exchange, that's still not representative of all the orders that exist. There are things called iceberg orders. These are all done like computer. They're all automated. And those orders won't show up in the books. Those orders are like servers that are connected to an exchange with extremely low latency. Like maybe they have a hard wire physically. They do this in the stock market. Like a hard wire from the exchange to their server, and they're, I don't know, like a mile away or less or something. And what'll happen is if price reaches a certain point, it will place a new order before anyone's really able to place any orders. So it won't show up in the books, but it is basically a limit order because it will be there in time. It's unfair advantage markets unfortunately suffer from. Latency is king. So this is the retracement we're looking for. 24,781. We're not there yet. And honestly, I will say this as well. We've been looking for these retracements. Because it's good analysis. It doesn't always happen, but it's good analysis. And we've been getting boned. We've been getting skunked. We have not seen full retracements. Like, these are baby tracements. Look at this, 382. We were looking probably for 27. I think this was the last real retracement we had. It was right before the fall. Yep, 618, there it is. Hammer timed. So there we go. Maybe we get it, but we haven't been. Bears have been in control. We haven't really seen the bulls able to catch bids. D Keenan 69 doesn't look good today. Good buying opportunity. I was saying that at the beginning of the stream, man. Especially for millennials. If you're a millennial, you have there's a good likelihood that you have never in your adult life had such a discount to buy assets at. And that's not even talking about crypto specifically. That's just across the board. NASDAQ is down 33%. I think in March it only went down 30%. To put in some perspective, that is some good perspective. Like, it's at a greater discount than the March crash. This is likely the highest opportunity we've ever seen as millennials for transfer of wealth. Does not mean go all in today, but it does mean, in my opinion, not financial advice, in my opinion, if I had a 401k or a Roth IRA, I know that people would be tempted to stop contributing because the market's down. That's the exact opposite of good investing. That's when you want to contribute. You don't really want to contribute. There's not as much incentive as markets are just hitting all-time highs. As they retrace, that's where those investments, those contributions shine. This may continue. We may see this could go all year if the Fed really doesn't budge. This could go all year. So you definitely don't want to be overextending yourself today, but there's opportunity. Red brings opportunity, 100%. AKA spoofing. It is spoofing. It's spoofing. It's a kind of method of spoofing. The iceberg order. Spoofing would be actually kind of the opposite, but it is like the same idea. Spoofing is you put an order up, and then when price comes down to it, it's gone. It's just not there. Whether it's a buy or a sell, when price reaches it, it doesn't fill. It was never intended to fill. That's spoofing. That's kind of like spoofing. It's the same kind of sneaky market unfair advantage tactic. Yeah, I feel that. We could have 5 years of shit returns. I highly doubt 5 years, but of course that's possible. So here's the thing. You have 5 years of crap returns. If you are able to cover your bills and your lifestyle, those 5 years of bad returns are going to be how you retire. You're going to be crazily well off. So let's say it's 5 years or, and then it's over. When the markets return to all-time highs, you're going to be so well. You're going to be so well off. You're likely like in retirement mode. But if you pool your contributions through those 5 years and the market goes back up, you're farther back than when you started, because now inflation has eaten away some of that value. You're just back to where you were after 5 years. So do you want to be back to where you were in 5 years, or do you want to be retired if you have to endure 5 years of pain? I don't think it's going to be 5. Honestly, like a year and a half is probably, in my opinion, as long as this parade can last. I'm not talking about crypto. I'm talking about markets in general. I don't see them selling for more than like 2 years, year and a half. Personally, I could be wrong. You're just talking smack. That's right, Paul. You're good, man. You're drinking. You just talk all the smack you want, man. You smack it up. Ethereum chilling. Nothing's really moved in the last hour. Boring. Global issue. Bitcoin will die and drop. You know that markets are emotional when people are using the word death. Markets aren't alive. They never were alive. Death is not a word. Death is an emotional word we assign. When we're feeling emotional, we say things are dead. Bitcoin is immortal. I promise you that. That does not mean it only will go up. It doesn't actually guarantee anything about price. But Bitcoin is immortal. The network is absolutely immortal. There's no way the Bitcoin network will stop producing blocks in our lifetime. No way. 0% chance. In my mind, in my opinion. This is not financial advice. You'll be here, BitConnect 2.0. Dollar will not be. I agree. What are you using to see the market graph? iJashan. I got you a link. Where is this? I used to have this on in the video description below. I'll add it to the video description below. How about that? Why can I not find it? What the heck happened? There we go. Copy. I'm going to put it into the video description. Give me 1 second. There you go. If you refresh the page, look at the video details, the description below, you will find it's the link to this software. It is free software. You can have a free account. There is premium options. The free account is amazing. It's really good for especially starting out charting. Typically, people haven't charted before if they're looking for it. The free version is fine. If you feel like you want to upgrade, like I have the premium, don't do it right away. Just use the site for a while, see if it's right for you, if you enjoy charting. Then maybe you'll see the value in upgrading, but the free version is good. You can use that link. It says start charting. It is an affiliate link. But yeah, this is the best software on the market. Big cat booty duty bounce. What's up, Shaq with the combo? I don't know. I don't really get the reference to that name, but I like saying it. Shaq with the combo. Is Litecoin immortal? P. I'm not going to make that statement about it. It could be. Proof of work systems, their design is not to be efficient. Their design is to be immortal. Like, that's what proof of work kind of is intended to be. I don't want to make that statement about any other chains because I don't have the same confidence, but Bitcoin is immortal. There's no way that blocks stop being produced, period. Price could keep falling. 90%, 99% of the miners could stop mining, but there will always be some devices somewhere mining Bitcoin, and that will keep the network on, period. The only scenario where there isn't is like if the world explodes. Like if the whole world explodes, okay, then Bitcoin dies too. Bitcoin will survive as long as humans do in our lifetime. If humans are alive, so is the network. And honestly, there's scenarios where humans aren't alive and the network's still running. Not for long, but there's a scenario. Florida man investing. There's so much fear in all the channels. I know it. That's why we're here, man. I'm not going to scare you. People are going to scare you today because, well, they're probably scared. That's fair. But they're scaring you because that's what gets clicks. Emotions. Catering to people's emotions gets clicks. We don't do that. Thumbnail. Title. A little clickbaity, but that's not the content. We're trying to, like, trick those people into coming here so that they can just bask in our calmness. I'm not worried. I mean, this sucks. I'm potentially going to lose a lot of money on Celsius. My portfolio, I'll share with you guys, my portfolio since November. This is unrealized loss. But unrealized loss of about $500,000 since November. I'm feeling you, man. I'm right there with you. I'm in it too. But you know what? You know why I'm not worried? Because even though it's down like $500,000, it's still up from when I started investing, even from, I don't know, 2 years ago, is still up considerably. Like, a lot. Yeah. I'm there with you, man. I'm feeling the pain. This is not fun. I don't like this. I don't want this to happen, but this is just the nature of the beast. This is what happens. If anyone told you that investing in crypto was get rich quick, easy money, they lied or they didn't know what they were talking about. This Bitcoin is get rich faster than other methods, much faster. But it is not easy and it is not quick. In fact, I think it's the hardest earned money possible. Bitcoin will go, this is like why I'm always calm, is I know Bitcoin will go to whatever price it has to go to get everyone out that is willing to sell. I'm not willing to sell. Like I take profits. I've taken money out of this, my portfolio, but I'm not willing to sell because it goes down. I might buy if it goes down enough, but I'm not willing to sell because it goes down. Not with Bitcoin. I got diamond hands, man. I've seen this go through everything. I've seen it come from nothing. I've seen the world freak out, embrace Bitcoin from what was a tinfoil hat, gibberish, almost conspiracy theory. I've seen it become a real thing, and I can never unsee that. Nations have embraced Bitcoin. And not just Bitcoin, they've embraced blockchain. They've embraced the technology. I have no doubt in my mind that in 5 years, every country will have a digital currency. No doubt. It's hard to see that right now. But the pace at which this space is moving and growing is unreal. It's light speed. Nothing touches it. Nothing's even close. Bitcoin is the new monetary system. Dude, we've lost the kind of pseudo-religious ideal core of crypto, of Bitcoin. That used to be what everyone talked about. Now we just kind of talk about Moon and like Lambos. But we all used to be here because we're in it for the tech. Bear market confirmed. We're here because this is an alternative. This is, and like, as I said, an immortal, like unkillable. That's the biggest problem with things. Lots of things could be an alternative system, but those things can be destroyed. That's why they don't ever become the system. Bitcoin cannot be destroyed. The network cannot be destroyed. That's its strength. It's not its price. Its price is largely irrelevant to the network. Largely irrelevant. Certainly we all want it to go up, but Bitcoin doesn't have to be traded. In fact, it existed before it was traded. Trading has no direct implication. Certainly as price goes up, we'll see a stronger network. We'll see more participants mining. But it doesn't have to go up for that. Mining will continue. That's it. Mezus got into crypto, or got into Bitcoin because of the decentralized aspect of money. It's just, I mean, you can tell when someone got into crypto by how they view the space and kind of what their beliefs are. Like, the longer you go back, or the longer someone's been in crypto, the more OG you are, the more likely you are to identify with the ideology. It seems less common kind of more recently you've joined. That doesn't, there's still time though. There's still time for you to see the light, to see why the diamond hands exist. Can you recommend the best decentralized system to keep BTC? Your cold wallet. Cold wallet. What's up, crypto trader? Alex, lots of mega mining in Texas. Dude, look at the world. Look at how much investment is being put into mining. Why Bitcoin and not some other coin? From literally the network. So here's something I've explained that I like the explanation for recently. People think of like Bitcoin as coins, right? Like as money. That's not actually Bitcoin. That's like kind of an incentive layer that's just on top. Bitcoin is a network. If you were to take all the miners and put them, I don't know, if they all started mining Litecoin for no reason, Bitcoin, it disappeared. There was a glitch in the matrix. It disappeared. And everyone mined Litecoin. This is just a gibberish scenario. It would still basically be Bitcoin. It's the network. It's all the miners. It's all the devices. It's all the hash power. It's not the name Bitcoin. Bitcoin as a name, or like the coin value is like not the value. It's not the strength. That's just reflective of the network, or it has been. I don't know if that makes sense. I explained it so well the other day. But yeah, it's not the name. It's the network. So why Bitcoin? Because it's the strongest, most secure. It's thermodynamically secured. The laws of thermodynamics secure Bitcoin. It is the most secure network on the planet. No other network exists that's even close, period. That is why it's valuable. That is why Bitcoin, not something else. No other coin has even remotely the same network strength. What's the Luna 2 chart telling us? I don't know, man. Good luck. Probably just straight down. Gold is shiny. It's also good at what? Reflecting heat? Heat? That would be cool if mining could go back to GPU and people, but even Satoshi knew that wasn't the future. Even Satoshi wrote about how mining will start in people's homes, but it won't exist that way forever. That it will move to, like, I think he called them data centers. To like industrial data center mining. Even Satoshi knew that 13 years ago. If you're freaking out and you want some, like, you want to feel good or something, go read. Go back. You can go on the Bitcoin Talk forums. Just go read the things that Satoshi, Hal Finley, like that these OG Bitcoin people, read the things that they said. You're going to be, one, you're going to just be distracted. That's good. But two, you're going to be blown away with the foresight they had for this project. It is remarkable, the foresight. 13 years ago. Now it's easy to go, oh yeah, of course, everyone knows that. Everyone knows, like, duh. But we can only say that now that Bitcoin has been like $1 trillion asset. This was before anyone had ever traded a penny of Bitcoin. It had no value. It had no notability. It had no history. These people had incredible foresight. Satoshi only ever really spoke about price one time because that's not what the project was about. It was explicitly stated that the coins were there essentially to be like a carrot, to dangle people into the network. It's pretty spicy. The CIA created Bitcoin. Sure. It doesn't matter who created it. That's the wonderful part. It doesn't matter who created it. It's unleashed. It's free. Doesn't matter who made it. Like if Satoshi reappeared, yeah, I mean his wallets could, that would be damaging, but it wouldn't break the system. Satoshi has no way of shutting Bitcoin down. Like it's already unleashed. So regardless of who made it, doesn't really matter. Cat's out of the bag, man. It does matter. The NSA is known for backdoor encryption. So you're going to make the claim that the NSA has SHA-256 breaking code? I don't know, man. So I'm leaning on the probable and the obvious and the rational. I can't say there's no chance or something that the CIA didn't. But where's the, I think the argument is that it just doesn't matter as much. Doesn't matter who made it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who Satoshi is. I hope we never find out. I don't think we will. Personally, I don't think we will. That's like saying the NSA controls math. Yep. I mean, they could have broken SHA-256 13 years ago. That's such a hard sell, man. I don't know. That's such a hard sell. There are more complex hashing algorithms, and Bitcoin can switch hashing algorithms if there's consensus on the network. Satoshi is Joe Biden. There's a bold comment. Craig Wright, the only wrong answer from Beardy Day Crypto. What's up, bro? It's been a bit. Craig Wright, the only wrong answer. Mitrala AF, what's up, man? 10K maybe we were talking about that. I'll throw up a short later, just kind of summarizing our thoughts. Who's going to buy and why? I don't know, man. Where's the money going to come from? It's the question that's always asked. Doesn't ever seem to come from where we'd expect. And it's so Jasper, you bring up a point. David Schwartz, there were many people involved with the Bitcoin project, and Bitcoin is not 100% unique code, actually. Bitcoin is very much a Frankenstein of many projects that were going on at the time, woven together into a very functioning protocol. So it wasn't, in theory, wasn't made by just one person. Well, no, it wasn't just made by one person. It took the best parts of a lot of projects that were going on at the time. I can't name them off the top of my head, but like it was like eCash, and like gold something. I don't know. There's a bunch. You can look up the history. But it's a Frankenstein. It's those stitched together in the best way. So there wasn't exactly one creator, but Satoshi was the one who presented the project, the protocol in its entirety to the community. Prepare your anuses. Grishka. How are there so many Bitfinex songs? God, I don't know. I talked about a potential situation where the large Bitfinex long whales cover their position and we see the market snap back. Anyone can break encryption with enough computing power and time, says Rob Stallone. That's in theory true, but in practice, there's not enough time in the universe to break SHA-256 right now. With the current computing power we have, all of it. If you took all the computing power on the planet and dedicated it just to cracking SHA, it would never crack SHA. I mean, it couldn't, like, you know, there's a non-zero chance, but it might as well be zero, that you get lucky, right? You could just guess a seed phrase, a key, but statistically you have a 0% chance of that happening. That is how difficult SHA is to crack. The technology does not exist yet. Zcash was part of the cypherpunks. They loved privacy, man. Hashcash. There you go. eCash and eGold. There it is. Preston Collins shout out with those dunks of knowledge. Thank you, my friend. I missed some subscribers. Power of Snail. Crashy Crash. Fitting name for today. Palmy Wizza. David Garcia. Scott Violet. Richard Snaith. Marcus Von der Wuthisen. That's not that many. It's not alerting me to all of them. But shout out to you guys. Thanks for subscribing. Make sure you're in the Discord for the live airdrop after the stream. Even if SHA is broken, this is another point. It is much easier for Bitcoin to simply adopt a different encryption than it is to break the encryption. Much easier. People want to make the argument of like quantum computing being a threat. Quantum computing, or just any, it doesn't have to be quantum, any kind of computing that is on like another magnitude is a threat to encryption, correct? But it is, again, much easier to create new encryption that is more complicated than it is to create that processing power. I would say, and making this up, it's like 1/millionth of the effort is required to make the encryption than it is to actually produce the computing. Quantum computing is not really a threat in my mind. It is indefinitely. Indefinitely it's a threat, given a long, infinite timeline. But Bitcoin is much more likely to just adopt a different encryption code. There already are quantum resistant, and this attests to what I just said. There already are quantum resistant encryptions, and there isn't actually quantum computing yet. That is a testament to what I've been kind of arguing here. Quantum computing, it exists, but it doesn't exist functionally. And it doesn't exist at size to be really matter at all. It will eventually. But we already have quantum resistant algorithms. Shore, using Shore's curve. Is it Shore? Schnorr's curve? I don't know. That's not my area of expertise either. The Fed is the 15th, and we're going to be here live for that. Right here on this channel. It should be like 2 p.m. East. The last thing anyone would care about is Bitcoin if they had like a real functioning quantum computer capable of cracking SHA. Dude, 100%. Bitcoin, even at its peak valuation, is a stupid target. $1 trillion. You could get much more than $1 trillion if you could crack SHA right now. That's why I'm incredibly skeptical to say the NSA has any way of backdooring SHA. You agree with me, Rob? I mean, I don't think we're arguing, really. I'm going D. Keenan. I'm going through this out there. I'm going to throw this out there, but I don't really think Bitcoin will never go back to... You don't think it will never? Or for 3 years? Well, you use double negatives. That means you think it will. I think you're saying it won't go back above 40K for 3 years. It's possible. Well, you guys know my thoughts. I'm just not as bearish as everyone. It's possible. I think it will. Well, Bitcoin in my mind will. I have no doubt Bitcoin will trade above 40K again. Where'd I get this Litecoin shirt? This is actually from Litecoin Gaming, which doesn't exist anymore. They like closed shop. Tom G. Actually, we did not touch the 200 weekly MA yet. Not on Coinbase. It's right here. It says green line. But we're hella close. We're within 1%. 1.5%. Very, very close. Maybe on other exchanges we did. I didn't check really. We are the most oversold on RSI on the weekly and monthly time frame in Bitcoin's history. There's something to look at. And we're right at the 200 weekly MA. Make your own conclusions. Huh. The major liquid provider on NASDAQ called BLX. That's funny because BLX is the Brave New Coin Liquid Index. Also. Spicy. So people are talking about like a 5-year crash. I don't think that's going to happen, but it is definitely in the realm of possibility for the stocks and for the stock market, for markets in general. Here's my gambit. If that's the scenario, I have full confidence that Bitcoin will recover sooner and stronger than stocks, than commodities. I fully believe my money's in the right spot, and that's why I have no interest in pulling out. That doesn't mean that's right for you. But for me, in my position in life, and my investments, and my liquidity, and my cash flow, no interest. Because when this goes back up, it's going to go up harder and faster than stocks. That's my belief. Yeah, right on, Rob. Yeah, dude, people, especially when price is so low and we have a bunch of other FUD going on, people latch on to these, like, I mean, anyone with knowledge, like, visibly disprovable statements, and they just get very emotional over them. I don't blame them. We've all been there. Proof of work, Maxi. Hey, Paul, and all my other boys, all my other Maxis out there. We spent like 2 years being called idiots and boomers in crypto, and you're going to find that this is right now, maybe in a year, 2 years to come, the near to long future, we're gonna see people convert to our line of thinking, man. This is where proof of work maxis are born. When shit hits the fan. Have I heard of Marin? The beautiful lady Marin. I could take a swing at what you're gonna say if it is about who I'm thinking. Today's a full moon. Today's a full moon. Full moons, I wish this wasn't true, but full moons have a very high correlation with swing lows. So I would speculate that Marin is saying that the bottom, local bottom, maybe she'll say local bottom because she doesn't like using strong language, that Bitcoin may see a local bottom in the next few days or today, and that it will trend up for the next 2 weeks. That would be my guess. Let me know. She's been pretty accurate. You know, man, like, think of, there is a mathematical correlation with full moons and new moons. Absolutely. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect correlation, but it is stronger than most things. But think of this. Horoscopes, right? Horoscopes are pretty accurate, right? Because they're vague. They're vague. They're very applicable. I don't think that the moon cycles is really like horoscopes, but just keep that thought in mind. The vaguer language is, the more accurate it is, just by definition. It doesn't take hard stances. Think about the rest of retail, not only about you, man. Bro, how all I can do is share my experience. I can't tell you what to do. Everyone's scenario, everyone's situation is different. What is right for me is, there's no way for me to know if that's right for you or for everyone else here. Everyone's in a different position. It depends how extended they are, how well they've been managing their risk, how well they've been managing their budget, what they invested in. Like, there's infinite variables. I can't speak for everyone. But I can speak for myself confidently. Doesn't mean it's right for you. I always give that disclaimer. Tomorrow is not the FOMC meeting. Actually, it's the 15th. Today's the 13th. So it's Wednesday at 2 p.m. East, I think. I think 2 p.m. East. That's usually when they have them. Craig Ray's 100% Satoshi. Well, then tell him to move the coins in his wallet. He's had 800 excuses why he can't. Satoshi, I know one thing about Satoshi. Satoshi had no interest in being known as Satoshi. Craig Wright seems to have a very big interest in it. Kind of goes against everything we know about Satoshi. Nobody cares about proof of whatever. We want gains. Good luck. Yeah, that's all I can say is good luck. Caring about gains, people who only care about gains tend to buy in at the top and sell at the bottom. It's people who care about gains are usually driven by greed, and greed is not a great guide in investing. What's up, Wafu Hunter? The system is called the OTC. No way with the Fed meeting this week, I know. But that we may say, well, typically, or swing lows on full moons are within like 3 days. Fed meetings in 2 days. That kind of fits that timeline, actually. The moons, brother, the moons. Proof of turd. Who has the money from 99%? People who sold the top. Probably market makers. If the Fed continues their rate hikes at 50 BPS, markets are likely to trade sideways, maybe see a little downside. Maybe have like a dead cat. If the Fed gets more hawkish and does a 75 or higher BPS hike, markets are very likely to continue dumping. And if the Fed walks back their rate hike schedule, markets are very likely to trend back towards all-time highs. That's how I see it. Cycle is a cycle, moons have cycles. I made a video on it, and I went back and did the research myself, and there's a high correlation. I have no other way of describing it. You can say, there's some really cool things I pointed out in that video, like the moon cycle is 28 days. It's always 28 days. The difficulty adjustment mechanism is every 14 days, so every 2 difficulty adjustments is 1 full moon cycle. There's some things that line up and make sense. They do. It's not just the moon. I want you to view my charts and shit on them. Sure. Put them in Discord. I'll poop on them. I'll give them the poop emoji. Can you give us some terminology? What terminology, Mr. Matthew Thompson? You name it, I'll try to define it. Well, we laughed at old Sharky when he was calling for 11K. I don't know, what? Early 2021. But yeah, dude, full moons, new moons. It's not that they are perfect, but their correlation is better than most things. I don't want to talk about moons anymore. You can watch the video. If a government agency created Bitcoin, there would no longer be 1 million coins in a wallet. That's a fair argument. Governments, not so good at future planning. Not so good at, future planning, really. I think their lack of future planning is a good indicator of how they're not in control of those wallets. Where did this video go? I'm just going to put the moon video in the chat because I don't want to talk about the moon anymore. 2 hours until I have to jump on the podcast. Bitcoin kind of trading sideways here. The podcast, you can see our previous episodes there, or you can tune in on Reddit, on the r/cryptocurrency subreddit. You'll see, it'll be pinned up there. Where's this link? Man, I have so many videos on YouTube, it takes a long time to search them. We haven't had many clicks on our sponsors. If you're looking for an exchange or a trading tool, top of the line, check out our sponsors. Links in the video description below and in chat. You'll get up to a $1,400 bonus on deposit for Phemex and 15% off if you use promo code CROWN for Market Cipher. There you go. More on moon correlation. Pinned. Done. Do I have good trading calls now? Maybe. I don't know. Scrooge coin. What? It's gonna... Oh, he's just shilling some coin. My advice would be don't go near alts. If you have to go near alts, wait for macro supports to hit. We went over a bunch of them in this video. 10K BTC you'll buy. That's the less price you bought it. I'm right there with you, Alchemist. That's how I feel about a different number. Good morning. Great day, says Corey. I'm glad you're having a good day, man. Spread those good vibes with us. Keep them here. All right. I've got alerts set. Price is sideways, guys. Jump in the Discord. We're going to do an airdrop. We'll do an extra large one. Extra large airdrop. All you have to do is be in the Discord by the time we do the drop. That'll be... Yep. That's all you have to do. You don't have to like sign up. You don't have to give any keys or anything weird like that. Tipbot CC hosts the wallets. You can withdraw from them once you have enough to cover the withdrawal fee. You don't have to do anything. You won't have custody until you withdraw, but you don't have to do anything. And I think what we're going to do is, in order to have the Bitcoin market move, the only way it moves is if we end the stream. So please subscribe if you're out there. We had quite a few 100 subscribers. I think we had about 100 subscribers. Yeah, roughly 100. Maybe we can make that 200 with your help. We're going to be live again tomorrow. Actually, I'm going to be on BitBoy's AM show tomorrow, but we'll still go live. We're live here almost every day, just covering what's going on in a rational, logical, calm way. We're not going to scare you. We're not going to get you hype. We're just going to look at the charts and see what the charts tell us. It's rare on YouTube. It's a rare thing on YouTube. A lot of value. Looking at all kinds of coins, not just looking at crypto, but also looking at stocks, looking at commodities. What's up, Old Dirty Dasher? Thanks for subscribing, man. And Larry Scott. Hopefully we have a few more join us. Pop in the Discord. Keep up with our live streams and our channels. Hope everybody's having a good day. Quick reminder, if you have assets stuck on Celsius, like myself, go in, log in right now. Go log in and add whitelist address, withdrawal addresses for each of your assets on there. You're going to want to do that now. Do not wait until the time comes if they unpause withdrawals. You don't want to wait till that time comes because you're going to have to wait another 24 hours. So go do that now. Go. In addition, what you can do whilst, what you can also do, you're going to go do the Celsius thing. You can, I don't know, bookmark this playlist or just go look at this playlist. This has my 30-second short clips of basically doing what we did today. I go into the lives and I condense like 5 minutes of content into 30 seconds where we will do things like, I don't know, looking at MATIC, talking about these important levels in 30 seconds. Very digestible. I appreciate you all. I love you all. Check out our sponsor. Shout out to them. And yeah, we do live trading. We just didn't today because too much was going on. We'll be live soon again. I love you, fam. Thanks for everyone here. Thanks for spending this time with me. I hope I see you soon. Tune into the podcast later if you want more Crown content. Randy Vids, Suzette Laxina. Good to have you guys. Cheers, everyone. Stay safe. Go set your whitelist address withdrawals from Celsius. Check out that playlist, and I'll catch you soon.